everybody. Give me a quick second. Man, appreciate all of y'all for being here, man. I'm off kilter today, but bear with me, y'all. Appreciate everybody for being here. Y'all in the chat, and I appreciate everybody that came through yesterday, man. I didn't know how much people would come by and support that stream yesterday, especially how much everybody ain't on religion and faith. But it was kind of cool. Good talk. Quantum says she's so ready for this. IG is in the building. Let me see. Chat Troll Queen. We got Enya in the building. We got Haley in the building. What's up, y'all? My so-called life is in two places, chat and on the panel. 1 second. That's it. Yeah, 1 second. To the laundromat. Okay, smoking in the chat. We got Kawhi Bree. Okay, that's what's up. Here, we're finishing up. Get that money. Get that money. Don't leave a penny on the table. Don't let them keep a single solitary cent. Claim indigent and get a full refund plus some. No, I'm done. But man, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Critically Drinking. I am Rashawn. If you were here yesterday, you kind of know what's going down today. We're going to have the same type of conversation, but with a different group of people. People I believe who've kind of chosen to forge their own path as far as faith and as leaving religion, believing or not believing as they so choose. So this is a different group that I thought would be able to have the conversation without. I want people to be able to have the conversation amongst each other, not at each other. Rico said he will be joining us shortly. I did announce yesterday that I was going to be putting one with another group of people. I'm probably not. There's probably going to be one more group that I'm putting together, and then if I do the fourth one, it might just be me and one or two other people. It might just be like a cleanup people that couldn't make the other one. So we'll see. But me and scheduling don't work well. Going back and forth and trying to get people to respond. I'm not good with that. I don't like it. It makes me feel certain ways, and it's personal to me. But it's me, and I'm the one that's got to do it. So I'm not going to keep chasing people down. We're grown. We're super grown. Like we're too old for this. So there's a lack of professionalism bothers me. I'm bothered, and my tolerance is low this week. So I might. Not this stream. Everybody I'm up here cool with. But y'all might see me get angsty before the week is out. I'm just letting y'all know. Full warning. Try Jesus. Don't try me. Because I ban. I don't fight. I will ban a nigga. But just letting y'all know where I'm at. We are doing songs for summer tomorrow. So come through tomorrow. Rest in peace. Shout out to Summer Mince Pies, man. That's been weighing heavy. So we'll be doing a beat bracket for her tomorrow. So come through for that. Show love for Summer. All the songs will have Summer in the title. So that should be cool. That's if you see the thumbnail for that, that's actually Summer's field, which she called that her field. I'm not sure if that's her plot or allotment, but I did get that picture from that she shared. She said it was her field. So I'm not sure if that's her plot of land that she was talking about, but that's the picture I took. That's tomorrow. Friday, we're doing the face-off Friday from this past weekend. We're going to do that this Friday. And Wednesday, me and Bree may pop up. What's up, Edna? Hello. So that will be this week. But today, you see the guys we got here. We got Yellow in the building. We got Duri Receipts, the man with the receipts. We got him in the building. And we got my so-called life. How are you gentlemen feeling today?
I'm doing well. I'm ready.
Coming off a heck of a stream last night. Last night's stream over on my so-called life was crazy. I met Greg Bryant's twin brother.
Oh, dog that's his cousin across the pond.
Across the pond color. Because man, I promise y'all, he turned everything sexual. I was like, oh, that's definitely Greg. And did I see Greg say he was in the chat? Did I see Greg?
The chat needs an agent of chaos every once in a while.
We need one. Yes. We went from Nova. We graduated to Greg, and over on your channel, you got Dog, and I'm an interview. I felt right at home. I'm like, man, this feels so normal. Like this feels like I love it. I love it. But it was fun.
Nothing,
It was fun.
nothing like being cursed out by a dog wearing a Pope
Oh
hat.
man, he had me cracking up. I'm like, this dude is hilarious. But what up, Zuri man? How you feeling up north? Up north.
Up north, up in Caledonia. What's up, everybody? What's up, boys? This is
Yeah.
my first stream, my first panel, so you guys bear with me. I'm a high school dropout, a little bit of an idiot. So I
Me
think
too.
me and Arshawn are gonna kind of mesh perfectly. We kind of balance out. He's up there, I'm down here, so we kind of meet in the middle somewhere with this stream.
Yeah. We
I'm
can
ready to
always
I'm ready to blast
trade
off.
places.
I don't know. It's gonna take me a while to get up there, but no, I'm ready to blast them. I'm ready to talk some Jesus and Muhammad, and I think I'm gonna bring a
That's what's
different perspective. Growing up Muslim myself, I didn't really think about
okay.
a lot on this channel. I know there's some brothers of the Nation of Islam here, but some would argue that that's not Islam. So I don't want to get into it now. Just not shoot shots, but I'm gonna keep my answers short, and 'cause I know you have a lot of questions to get to.
All right, cool. Hey man, we appreciate you being here. First panel, man. We will be gentle. We'll be gentle. We'll try not to, be too rough with you when your first time. Yella, how about you, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm cool. I'm cool.
Yeah, you just came off your selection show. Your songs all selected.
Oh yeah. The banger's gonna bang tomorrow. You know what I'm
That's what's up.
saying? We gonna do it up for summer. So be here 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. Bangers galore. And if you up on Twitch, like I said, come up on Twitch. I'm adding a new element of the voting to the game. It's gonna be basically you can rig the votes.
Oh no.
So incentive to you for you to come over to Twitch and come check me out.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
exactly what you're doing.
I figured
That's
that out
dirty.
too. I figured that out. I mean, I'm not doing nothing. I am just
But you're
conducting the
allowing
room.
it. Oh, but
I
you're allowing
mean,
it.
I mean, yes,
I'm just saying.
but that's it's neither
That'll
here.
that'll be funny. That'll be funny.
It's neither here nor there.
I can't
But
wait. I can't wait to see that. That'll be
yeah.
fun.
I'm I'm
I can't wait.
I'm ready for this conversation. I think.
Cool, man. Cool. So I want to start off then with the softball question. With the softball question, I want to start off by hearing about your path. Tell me, Yella. I'm gonna start with you. We're gonna work our way to Dury. Let him get warmed up. You know what I'm saying? You got to get brought in slow. So we're gonna start with you, Yella. Tell me about your faith.
What faith? I don't have any. 0%. I don't have none. Checked my faith account today. I'm probably like in the negative at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, it counts in the negative. Let's see. Let's read the actual question. Tell me about your faith, religion, what you believe it contributes to your life. How did you begin? If you left the church, yeah. See, okay. So I've heard a lot of stories, and I've noticed that's kind of not even just a particular thing with like you and Bree and the panel from yesterday, but just kind of
Mhm.
across the board in YouTube. There's a lot of people who was in the church and their experience started from there. I never was. I was
Okay.
it ain't even like a has been. I never was.
Okay.
I None about it made me want to be there. I wasn't forced to be there. You know what I'm saying? My granny went to. I mean, there was a few times I was made to go. We used to pack up in a little bitty Honda. It was like 17 of us in this little bitty Honda. Yeah, and we go to this little church, and it was so small, and it ain't had no air conditioning. We was in that boy hot as hell. But that was like every blue moon, because she didn't go all the time. She went when she felt like she needed to. She watched church on TV. You know what I'm saying? So I really had no type of experience, no type of wanting to seek it out. How it's forged my life now? I mean, I don't really trust too many people. It's probably because of that. You know what I'm saying? because that's also what I seen too. I noticed that the people who do fucked up shit claim religious beliefs as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? The people who be on bullshit believe the same thing as the people who supposed to not be. And I've always been of the mind, well, if that's how you rock and y'all believe the same thing, then nah, I'm good. I don't. But it was one experience that I had that kind of really tapped me out of it. I was about maybe like 13, 14. I was in a really crazy place. But I was at church with my boy one time, and I was standing up there, and they call you up to the front,
Yeah.
and the pastor going around. Nowadays they be throwing like Dragon Ball Z balls at you, you know what I'm saying, Kamehamehas at you. But he was just going by, he was tapping everybody's forehead, and they was catching the Holy Ghost or whatever experience or whatever they was, you know what I'm saying, experiencing. And I was sitting there and I was ready. Like let's go, hit me with some Jesus. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready.
Yeah.
He got to me and he tapped me on my head, and I was like, all right, look, maybe the connection ain't make it. Like, tap harder. So he went again, tapped it again. I'm looking around, nothing happening. Now he looking at me like it's something wrong with me, like I'm broken. I'm sitting there like, you conduct this shit. I don't have the powers. Remember, you running this program. Like, I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready. So he tapped me again, and now nothing's happening. And I'm looking at him, and it's like, and he looked at me, and I looked at him. And you know what I'm saying? We both stand at each other. He like, man. So I always equated to the scene from Mortal Kombat with Johnny Cage. In the beginning, he was kicking dude and kicking dude and kicking dude, and he was filming a movie, and dude wouldn't go down. And he looked at him, he told him, he was like, this is the part where you fall down. So I was like, I felt that type of energy, so I kind of like took like a knee, like Colin Kaepernick almost, and got up out of there. And from that day, I was just like, oh no, because I felt like it no. I know a magic show when I see it.
Okay.
So that's, went on by my heathen way, I guess.
So you don't have any particular thing that you believe in, like maybe not God, but do you believe in like the universe, source, energies, science?
I don't believe in anything enough to say I believe in it.
Okay.
I believe anything exists. And then at the same time, I believe nothing exists.
I respect. Total respect that. All right. Well, my so-called life, man. Tell me about your path, man. Tell me about your faith or lack thereof, what it does for your life, and how did you get where you are?
First off, I want to start off by saying I'm an atheist nihilist. And when I say I'm a nihilist, that means I don't believe in anything. I'm talking about the Easter Bunny, juju, hoodoo, voodoo, just pick it. I don't believe in it. I don't. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why in a minute. I'm trying not to like just jump in the pool. We go walk in the shallow end.
Yeah.
I was raised hardcore Roman Catholic. Hardcore. I went to church every Sunday until I was confirmed at 17 years old. I was raised, in contrary to popular belief, I know people don't want to hear this, but Catholics only read the Bible. So when you go to church, they read the Bible, and you can look up in the beginning of the year what you're going to see throughout the entire year. It's a formula.
Oh, wow.
So there's really no preaching. It's mainly Bible based. Like a priest will walk up and say his opinion for 10 minutes, but it'll literally be about what he just read,
Okay.
So with that being said, my journey, I was a bit of a seeker. I was one of those people that wanted to find God. It was my quest. I I did every drug you could possibly think of. I did peyote, acid, mushrooms, trying to find a higher power. I joined anything I could. And then when I was like, I want to say 17 or 18, I got recruited by the Nation of Islam. And really long story short, all that really happened is I got to see Louis Farrakhan twice, and Bill Cosby yelled at a group of like 300 black men and called us all losers.
That's crazy.
That was really my experience, was being yelled at by Bill Cosby. That was about it.
Man.
I'm not here to insult you. I'm not here to kick down the door and tell you what you believe is wrong. I don't believe in God. With that being said, if I had proof in front of my face, I would have no choice but to believe in God. So it's not that I'm closed-minded. It's not that I'm saying God doesn't exist. I don't see any evidence for God in any way, shape, or form, because it's another human telling me about something that's outside of their body, that we're experiencing the same thing in different ways. When Yella was talking, I was like, I feel the exact same way that Yella does. I think sometimes we're all saying the same thing in different directions,
Okay.
And as somebody who is completely stepped away from religion, that doesn't mean I don't help people. My job is a service job. I've worked outreach with homeless people for too long. It's made me jaded. Y'all need to take care of your people.
Man, facts.
It's made me, but my whole point is, I'm not a hate-filled person. I don't go around kicking puppies. I don't, I think sometimes we have these weird views of people. Because even yesterday, I heard someone say something about, atheists are this or that. Atheists are not a monolith. It's not all-encompassing. It's literally just a non-belief, and that's it. There's people that are atheists that are in the KKK. There's people that are atheists that are in the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of a stance and less of a belief. I've seen people turn it into a religion, but human beings, when they get in a circle, they can't help but try to control other human beings. So that's a short story.
Okay. No, that's solid.
I could go off, but I'm one of those people. I'm more about love and peace on this side. What happens after you pass away? I don't know. And I could get into all kinds of crazy stuff, but I don't know what happens when you cross over. If you cross over, I'm kind of cynical when it comes to that. I think when your heart stops and your brain stops, that's the end of the ride. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I got you, man. We got Rico in the building. What's going on, Rico?
How you going, sir? How you doing? I'm doing good.
Doing good myself as well, man. And shout out to Queen Sun Kid. Saw you pop up in the chat. Appreciate you for being here. I know we were just doing the entry question. We were asking about people's faith, lack thereof, how we got where we are. Now I know you're just coming in cold, but I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna get Durian last. He's the first time panelist, so we're gonna let him hear everybody and get comfortable, get situated. Gotta get him loosened up. Gotta get him ready.
I was fine until Senior Rico came, because I'm a little nervous now. Now that we got Rico
No,
in
relax. No.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'll go in there, and I did. That was a pretty good job. So
My so-called life.
That was pretty. I like that. I'll just basically say my faith or lack thereof. I self-identify as agnostic.
Okay.
Which is basically the best way I describe it is I, because I may be a solo individual agnostic, adherent in the way that I see it, is that I believe in the possibility of a higher power, but I've so far, for the majority of my life, have not seen evidence, or what I would describe evidence of it. I'm not religious at all. I did not come up religious, even though as a black man, of course, living in a black home, My mother was not wildly religious. She became more religious as she got older, obviously, maybe for obvious reasons, because once you start sensing your mortality, knowing that you're not going to be here forever, you start to freak out a little bit. But I did not come up in a religious household. My grandparents were I came from people that were very mildly religious. And I think for a lot of us, part of the reason being is we see what this world is. And it's hard to grasp a lot of positive when your life has been through so much disappointment and trauma and so forth. So, I see the horrors of people, humanity. And it's like, if there's a God, I don't want to sound, bad. It's like, well, what the hell is he doing? Because these people are fucking horrible.
Yeah.
They're just horrible. It's just like we're surviving I do see some good, but I see more bad in the world. I just try to do good. I don't know where I guess the morality in me comes from obviously around people that maybe are religious, but I don't feel anything. I've never felt it. I've mildly dabbled in a couple of religions here and there, trying to find a faith or see if there's a faith that exists in me. And I just can't come up with it. It's nothing resonates or stick. And I've tried a few times over the years. I have. I'm not going to say that I haven't given it an honest effort, but then eventually after a while, I've just come to a place where it's just not in me, no matter what I've been through in my life. I too do, as I'm getting older, I do have some questions. So in my mind, I think, okay, one day I'm going to close my eyes and I'll just fade to black, to nothingness. I see no evidence, and I've searched for me of a life thereafter, and I don't see it, so I don't pray. I don't reach out to, and I've had some near-death fucking experiences, but I've never felt a presence. I felt the natural, mortal fear, so on and so forth. So the only thing I will say is that while I don't have the faith, I love the fact that religion is within within the world, because I think the world would be 10 times worse without it. Even though I find a lot of things that I blame religion for, I find like pretty much almost all the ills of mankind is because of religion. I think that without it, this shit would ramp up times 100. So I don't want it to go anywhere. I just don't feel like I need it.
I say this with love. Like we don't know a planet without the reign and terror of religion. So we don't know if we would be space communists like Star Trek. We don't know if we would be just in bunkers like the 1800s with the power gone. We really don't know what would happen if we didn't have religion, because the yoke of it has been around all of us, as long as anyone can look back.
But this is what I'm saying when I say I'm glad for it. So is because I see religion as a control mechanism. It's a control mechanism. And I'm like, these motherfuckers need some control. That's what I'm saying. That's why I like it. I like these motherfuckers without control. Oh my God. That's what scares me. Yeah. Is that literally if everybody thought like me, woo, I would be scared. And I'm saying, because I don't know if everybody's going to have a moral compass. Yeah. Sometimes I think to myself, well, damn, if I really could get away with whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the fear of consequences that keep me in check. But I know people with the fear of consequences. I'm like, no, we need something. We need something, so fuck it. But that's my entry into the conversation.
Okay, I respect that. I have that saying that if it wasn't for the fear of consequences, man, it'd be bad. It'd be so bad. I mean, I'm talking about for me, my behavior. It would be boring. But Dury, hopefully you're ready for us. Can you tell us?
I'm ready, but I don't even know if I could add anything, because I agree with what people said.
Yeah, I mean, but you can add your perspective. I think you came from a different path, though.
Oh, for sure. I find myself to fall into the agnostic category, where like I'm open to anything. I don't know better. so I can't say that I know.
Your audio's
what
sliding in and out.
Okay, all right. Let me know if it's shitty, and I'm talking with type real quick.
All right.
No, I was saying that I'm agnostic. I know I grew up Muslim, but I'm agnostic now. So actually, if you Google holy city in Africa, it's a little village in Ethiopia in the east called Harar, and that's actually where I was born. That's where I'm from. So I grew up in a very conservative Islamic tribe.
Yeah, it's
I get
not
to see a Christian.
Dory might need you to move again because it keeps
All right.
sliding in and out.
All right, but yeah, give me 5 minutes. I'm just gonna head inside. Give me 5 minutes.
Cool. That'll work.
Can I just want to also add one part, Arshawn? It's funny because I was thinking about this yesterday. Was like, I didn't come from a deeply religious background. I'm not deeply religious, and as being a father and grandfather, neither are my children. So I left it for all of my kids to find their faith of their own accord. And I kind of look at it the way back. I kind of feel like that's how my mother left it for us each to figure it out. And I mean, even if people give you a faith, once we become adults, it's up to us whether we choose to hold on to that faith, choose another faith, or let go. So ultimately, I think everybody will end up in that space. But I like the fact that I wasn't preconditioned to believe one particular way. So realistically, I could, if I found a fact, I could be anything tomorrow because I'm really a blank canvas around religion, other than I just think of it from the control aspect of it. I mean, because we have it in everything in our government. It's as though I try to be very secular. We swear on the Bible in the courtroom. It's permeated everywhere. But I also see it as somewhat of a trigger to me in like people who don't necessarily believe in a lot of Christianity in the U.S. We push it so heavily.
Yeah.
It's different here because we don't have a national religion per se. People claim that Christianity is, but it's not. It's not like in the UK or like in Mexico or, in certain, like go to Spain and tell me they do not have a national religion. They do.
Yeah.
It's called Catholicism, It's
but
little bit different.
But like I say, we don't have one, but it is a predominantly Christian because you don't see, the Islam anywhere. So it is predominantly. So I think we would be, not honest by not saying we don't have one. It's Christian leaning in America.
But would you say that people just say that because they want to say, oh, I'm a good person, so I'm a Christian?
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, the average person has not read the Bible.
Yes.
Quran, like pick a book,
And that's what I'm saying. I would believe it because to me, it's almost like it's weird because I don't think most people believe it, but you just follow it because it's like a law, like any other law. Don't go past a red light means stop. So you hear Christianity, so we're Christians. Why? Because they told us we were. You know what I'm saying? They told us we were, so we're a thing, not a pure. I do not believe it's purely faith or belief driven. I believe it's people are told you're Christian or a heathen, and they just pick one side.
Nowadays, people say my new annoyance is when someone says they're culturally Christian. Richard Dawkins said that like a week ago. He's like, I'm culturally Christian. I can't watch. I was like, I can't watch this. This is bad for my blood pressure.
Hey, but that's the thing. I think that's what most people are migrating to. Cultural Christianity, because they're not actually
practicing.
Okay, he's inside. Yeah, they're not actually practicing or deeply delving into the principles and things like that. So I think a lot of people like the affect. They like the culture of it. They like the community aspect. I started calling it the social club. I didn't even have cultural Christian, but I was like, this is a social club. Y'all come here to hang out once a week and then get y'all's rocks off, cry if you want to, dance if you want to, sing if you want to, and then you dip home and you act exactly the same. So I get what y'all saying, but Dury said he's back, man. Dury, go ahead and hit us with your answer if you don't mind.
My bad, guys. I kind of fucked up the floors. But no, I was just saying, so I grew up really
Not gonna lie, Dury, that did not fix it. That did not fix it.
If it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna cut out. Let me know if it's up now.
Sounds a little bit better. Let's see if you talk for a minute, see if because it was modulating.
Okay, I took off my earpiece, so I'm just talking straight into the phone.
Okay.
But
Sounded better.
yeah, no, I agree with like 90% of what Rico was saying. As far as a higher power, like I'm open to anything, right? I don't really call myself an atheist. I find myself like I got as I said for the fourth time, a really conservative upbringing. My real name is Nduri, but I go by Duri. But if you think about the most Islamic name out there, that's my Govi. You know what I mean? And my mom is super conservative. To give you an idea, I've only seen her shake two guys' hands ever in my life. She doesn't touch males at all. One of those men was a surgeon that did an operation on me, but like she's that really like conservative. My dad, super religious, but I see the benefits of religion. And a couple of them, like I'll use my dad for an example. He's old. He's maybe like touching 90 right now, and he has his health issues. Can barely even walk. But he has his faith, and he's happy because to him, like he's lived his life straight and like as pious as he can be. So he believes in the afterlife. So for him, like this life isn't even real. It's just a test. It's just a test for him to go to the hereafter. And he believes in it so much where the only time he's really miserable is when he wakes up in the morning because he's like, oh shit, I'm still here. But like when somebody has faith like that, how could you really knock them? You know what I mean? But for me, it's like I question, okay, if life is a test and God knows everything, why are we even here? Like he knows the results. Why can't he just divvy up people the way we're supposed to go if there's a heaven and a hell? And then another side of me also, like throughout all of these faiths, there's similarities, you know what I mean? So maybe there is some truth. Maybe it's broken telephone. Maybe they're trying to relay the same message just in a different way, you know. And I've been trying to like open up my scope a little bit and use science a little bit. You know, we're rational, we're men, so we like to bring the evidence forth. And like Rico was saying, like I haven't really seen anything. However, like during tough times, I'm not sure if you guys can relate. I kind of want to ask So about this because he said he's an atheist. But have you ever prayed during a very like distressful time? Like right now, if something happened to you, would you reach out or would you say anything to something? Because I find myself doing that, and I find myself, so even though like I don't fast, I don't pray, I sin. You know, the reason I don't call myself a Muslim is because if I was, I wouldn't be a good one. You know, like I drink, I smoke, I fornicate, like I do all the bad stuff, right? And my friends do the same thing, but they call themselves Muslim. I'm looking at them like, you guys are kind of hypocrites, you know? But at the same time, am I going to go around and parade and say I'm an agnostic or whatnot? No, because it brings shame to my family a little bit. And I kind of want to save them from that. So I keep to myself. It's an inner struggle. It's an inner journey. I believe faith is an individual process that doesn't really need to involve the community. But religious structures have, like Rico said, used it to control. Use it like in the Islamic faith, there's a tax. So if you're a non-Muslim living in a Muslim country, you gotta pay a tax. I don't know if you guys are aware of this.
I am.
No.
Yeah, no, you gotta pay a tax. If you're like a Jewish living in Iran or a Christian living in a Muslim, there's a tax that you have to pay. And this has been the thing for a long time. It's like either pay the tax or like die by sword type of a thing. So they use power to like really control people, and they use the faith. And again, in a Muslim country, like if I was to even have this conversation right now in some of these countries, I'm dead. If I was to tell them how I feel, if these guys saw my porn history, I'm dead. I'm flung off a building. You get what I'm saying? So like, I feel privileged that I'm over here tonight. Yeah.
I wanna answer what you said really quick.
Go on.
No, I do not pray to anything. I don't even think about it. And one of the reasons why I don't pray is because I prayed every day consecutively. I think I don't even want to like some outrageous number. And when I was in the worst part of my life, like my life had completely fallen apart. I was a mess. I stopped praying, and I'm not kidding you, my life improved. I'm not saying one thing was leading to the other, but I stopped giving my power away. I stopped my thing is I am huge on personal responsibility. So if you are constantly asking someone to help you, if you are constantly asking an outside entity to do something for you, you are giving away the very power that you're going to use to help yourself.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call it for me. I wouldn't really call it praying, but I do find myself making these quote unquote deals with a higher power, whoever he is. It's like, please get me out of this situation, and I'll stop this, or I'll do this, and And it's like, well, do I believe or do I not believe? And also sometimes, like when I'm saying some blasphemous shit, like in Islam, there's a prayer for everything. There's a prayer before you eat. There's a prayer when you finish eating. There's a prayer for when you walk into the washroom, when you come out of the washroom, when you leave your house, when you start your. There's a prayer for everything, and there's a prayer for like if you have like bad thoughts. And sometimes I would think like these thoughts about God not being real, but I would catch myself and I'd say that prayer in my head. So I too, it's an internal struggle even for me. But I think I lean towards the agnostic side, just because if this thing was real, I'm going to hell. So it's like, hey, if
I'm finna say, I was gonna say, I had some Taco Bell the other day, and I said a prayer on the way into the bathroom too. So
but Dury, that's why I think it's the difference between agnostic and atheist, because to be an atheist, you have to believe that God doesn't exist. To be an agnostic, you're saying you don't have a belief one way or the other. So I can't say he doesn't exist. I can't say he does.
Well, I'm not saying that I know either way. I'm saying that the God of the Bible, Quran, Torah, Vishnu, pick one, doesn't exist. If something else shows up, I'm wrong. If what is it, Cholulu comes out the ocean, I'm gonna be like, oh F, I was wrong, but I don't see any evidence for it.
Because we could think about it too, though. Like I said, when I think about it, like right now today, we're thinking of all of the modern day religions, which is all we know. But there are hundreds, if not thousands, of faiths that have just been lost to the history of time that we know nothing about. So you're absolutely right. Maybe there was something that was real, and these motherfuckers came and hid it from everybody and forgot all about it, and we're all fucked up. I don't know.
Up until Jesus came around, Isis was the main god. Until people prayed to Isis, she was the deity. What if we're all wrong? Like Rico said, we're all done. She gonna smite us all,
So that would mean the people who do believe, the people who don't believe, because it's like, yeah, they don't believe, but I really do exist, and all you motherfuckers believe in the wrong person. So everybody could literally be wrong.
Yeah.
I want to go on what Drury was saying, though. There's a reason why all religion and beliefs are kind of alike, because we're human beings. We have our feet on the ground. No matter how much we say that we're different, I have traveled. I was shocked when I went to the South and everybody was eating collard greens, black-eyed peas. Everybody, I would. I've been to Egypt. They reinvented the chicken in Egypt. Everybody, we are more, we constantly talk about our differences, but we are more alike than we want to admit.
I can definitely agree with that. Shout out to Apex in the building and Haley. I don't think I greeted y'all. I might have missed a few people, man. Forgive me. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna start with Yella. Does it offend you when people who don't, who I guess this is for the opposite. Does it offend you when people who are believers in a faith, whether it's Jehovah's Witness, come to your door knocking? Are you prepared for Jehovah's return? Whether it's the Christians, whether it's anybody, are you offended when they don't, when they approach you and are trying to persuade you about how you should believe and things like that? Does that bother you at all?
Yep. Absolutely, it does. And it's weird because it only offends me because I know they would be offended if somebody tried to persuade them not to believe what they believe in. Right.
Yeah.
So, if you want the freedom and ability to praise and worship how you want and how you see fit without judgment, I mean, I kind of feel like then I should have the choice to not, without you feeling a certain type of way. Mm-hmm. And with a certain melanated level comes that bit of ridicule, because for some reason we feel like we got to believe in something, and the thing we believing in keep letting us down, been letting us down forever. Like you're gonna tag into the game at some point. This, like I said, I don't feel no type of way about it. It sucks to be them. It's like I'm not a Cubs fan, but damn, I felt for the Cubs for like 100 years. Y'all ain't win. You know what I'm saying? Y'all kept losing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want them to get one. I want them to get one. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to be a part. I don't have to reap the benefits. But it becomes a lot of that. It becomes a lot of that. So that's why I try to distance myself away from that so much, or I've kind of just learned to ignore it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, cool, let them talk. Then we can move on. I'll bring up something else. I look at it like wrestling. Like I'm not finna give. I know people I can persuade to watch wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing.
So Yella, you finally come over to my side. It's like wrestling because they both fake.
Hey, wait. The difference is I know what I'm watching is fake.
I had to get my wrestling joke.
No, it's cool. I dig it, but in the same vein, that's kind of where I'm at. I know that's why I will. Yeah. That's why I invest more into wrestling than religion. Yeah, because I know it's fake.
Yeah,
I know that them two dudes that just beat the shit out of each other probably finna go have a steak dinner after this and talk about how much money they made. Right. These niggas, the same dudes that was fighting 3 years ago was best friends this year. Like, I know it, you know what I'm saying? So I get that it's the gimmick, right? I'm buying into that.
And the other similarity, Yella? It creates a fervent fan base, religion. Yeah. And it's all has for a huge monetary gain.
Yes, sir.
Also deeply related. So you see a lot of similarities.
He right though.
I'm just saying.
No, he right. He right, because we got something called the IWC, which is, is as creative as you can get, the internet wrestling community. And those, I don't interact with those people because they are the religious folks of the wrestling world. They're loyalists to brands, they're loyalists to wrestlers. They have irrational, borderline psychotic thoughts patterns when it comes to something that they know is fixed.
Oh, you talking about AEW? You talking about AEW fans then, right?
I'm definitely talking about AEW fans. No, I'm definitely talking about AEW fans. They are the worst. They are the worst.
They are the worst.
But it's the okay. And I'm glad we're going down to this road, because it's the same similar archetype that bothers me about both religious people and wrestling fans. It's the ones who feel like they are more in tune with the inner workings of how it goes than anybody. I know this is gonna go this way. They always got the information. They always know how it's going. They know, oh yeah, this person really this person really was supposed to win, but they got held back. Religiously, to me, that's, oh yeah, they didn't add this book of the Bible into the Bible, so they had this similar shit. Dang. You wasn't even there. You were not in the booker's room. You don't know why that person didn't get the title shot, but because you feel like because you believe it. You actually believe what you're seeing, and you believe it on a level bigger than where it's supposed to be at.
Mm-hmm. And so it makes me think too. I'm like, I was sitting here and I'm wondering, maybe you can tell me, is there a faith that does not have a huge financial doctrine? Because I'm thinking, even if we go back to Catholicism, all the way back to its inception in the church and the power and the money. Same thing with Christianity. I don't know a lot about Islam. Someone can tell me that, but like every faith I know, they end up having these huge pillars where people are paying tribute. They may call it, you call it tithe in the day. Back then it was called tribute. Mm-hmm. All of these religious orders were wildly, outsizedly rich compared to the times of the day, even to today. It's almost perverted. I'm like, I can't think of a faith where they do it and there's not a huge financial gain, which we know finance is power.
I was just about to say money is power. There's no other way to go around it, but money is power. So you can't have one without the other. You know, it makes me laugh when people look at a country like Cameroon and they're like, oh, Africa kind of looks like Manhattan because they have oil money. Man, you know, go to a place like Egypt, you'd be surprised how clean it is. You know, they have more money than we could ever think of. Look at Saudi Arabia. How much money do they throw at soccer players? You know what I'm saying? Religion in general is a money making machine. The church literally wrote the blueprint for everybody else to figure it out. Okay, you do this, you give them this. The Romans are famous for giving people bread and circuses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop them from rioting. Let's give them entertainment and food. They're okay. That was the formula for the Roman Catholic Church and any other religion after that, while they're taking your money. Tithing? Don't even get me started on tithing. And every religion you give who you are, your money, your time, everything to that religion.
The argument can be made that the original capitalism is religion, because all capitalism is the exploitation of, you know, a small group of people, the exploitation of the mass producing power of the masses. That's basic capitalism at its base core, and you funnel all of that productivity to a smaller number as it goes up the food chain.
Of course.
So it's a big fucking pyramid scheme. That's basic. I mean, that's capitalism. Really, they're basic big pyramid schemes.
But you can't have one without the other.
At the top controls. But go ahead.
You can't have one without the other because it's about power. I was gonna say this earlier. When I was a kid, my family took a trip and we went to the Vatican. That place is literally lined with gold. They toned it down. But the rooms that they would show you, they're statues of gold. The carpet had gold lining on it. I was 7 years old looking down like, why does the carpet have gold? And you know, that gold didn't come from Italy. You know where it came from. It was exploited from other people. You know what I'm saying? Opulence, religion, power, it all goes together. All of it. And you can't have one without the other. I'm leaning more heavily towards the Christian side because I know more about that. I was more of a wannabe Muslim just because I went to their countries and came home and watched Black Panther and Malcolm X too many times.
Now, Dury, appreciate you being patient. Now, real quick, because I was running late. This is on me. I was running late, y'all, so I didn't get to set the table beforehand, get to chop it up with y'all. So that's on me. So I'm doing this publicly because I don't normally like doing this, but I'm gonna do this. If we can. I see Rico, I know that's my guy. He be flowing. William, I love it. I don't really care how the conversation goes. I can follow the conversation and we can take it any way we want to. Only thing I'm gonna ask is because Dury is not on camera, we can't see when he's trying to like jump in or anything.
Oh no! I'll speak up if I want to jump in.
Okay. But
I appreciate you looking out. I appreciate you looking out, brother. But
I got you. Yeah, I like people not getting froze out. I want for me. I'm asking. I'm not for you. Dury. Forget Dury. I'm not even asking for Dury. I'm not at. This ain't about Dury. This is about me. Okay. So me as Rashawn as the host of the show, I prefer to make sure everybody gets in the mix. So if every now and then, if y'all know we flowing for a minute, like 5-7 minutes, and it's just like two people bantering back and forth, let's make sure we throw the other person in. So again, that's for me. Dury don't need that, but I need that. So, but Dury, I want you to jump in on this question now. Does it offend you when people don't believe in you? Man, let's go, bro.
No, I'm sitting here. Listen, I'm sitting here with my paper, my pen, and I'm taking down notes. So I'm in here. I'm gonna come in as I go. But no, you guys are speaking on the money thing, and the money that's it's used to control. It's the money and the fear, right? Those are the two opposite sides of the coin. It's like the U.S. dollar, right? It's their biggest weapon. It's not any nuke that they have. It's these sanctions that they're using for different countries, right? So if you control the currency, you control the people. And that's what I'll tell you. My mom, I just picked her up from the airport like 3 days ago. She just came back from Hajj. Hajj is something like that's what you do when you go to Mecca and you go around and you walk around and you do the pilgrimage or whatnot. And it's obligatory for every Muslim to go at least once in their life if they financially can. And whoever controls that area, which is now Saudi Arabia, controls essentially the Muslim world.
So whenever you hear conflicts between Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims, they're really just trying to control that piece of land, because whoever controls that controls the Muslim world. You know what I mean? So it's a money thing. It's always been a money thing. And also we have, it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. One is prayer. So you got to do your 5 prayers every day. One is the Hajj. So you got to go if you can. If you can't afford it, it's okay. But another one is zakat, which means charity. And the number is about 20%. So you have to give 20% of your income to the religious organizations or to charity, but most people just give it to their mosque, and their mosque would divvy it out or do whatever. But I'm pretty sure that money is like greasing some hands before it really touches the people that it needs to touch, as most organizations, as most charities, you know what I mean? So it's best to do that kind of stuff on your own. But no, money is definitely one of the biggest factors. I mentioned the tax that Muslim countries have for non-Muslims, and that's a serious thing. And it still runs today in some countries. So yeah, no, money is definitely used to control.
So let me ask y'all a question real quick. So y'all talking about a lot about the power and the finances of the church. Do y'all think that it has too much power and sway in our world, and then drill it down to America, the United States? We've separated that church doesn't have the exact same level of, I guess, like legitimization as in the UK or other, where they say, "Oh, this is our religion." So does in the United States, and especially since a couple of you have traveled the world around, do you think it has too much sway? I mean, especially as people who are not either practicing or don't even believe. What do y'all think?
Are you saying that? Do you think America has too much say, or Christianity in general?
Religion. So I'm not even just saying just Christianity, because we're already talking about Islam. So does religion have too much influence over people, over humanity worldwide? Is it too influential? Are we leaning on it too much? That's one question. The second part is, in America, since we don't endorse it the same way, do you think it's the same here? Is it problematic?
We're on our way to a theocracy. If you look at the laws that are being passed, if you look at the conversations that people are having, the way that people are posturing, but we're nowhere near it.
Okay.
A theocracy, like Drew was saying, they control everything you do. Everything. You know, the second he was talking about the Hajj, I got on my phone and I went to Mecca Live because I want to go there. But like, I smoke, I spit on the ground, like, you know, I eat pork. I don't know if I could go there.
You can't spit on the ground?
Bro, I've never been there myself, so don't even feel away.
I mean, the way I look at it is absolutely, and especially in poor countries.
Oh yeah.
I think poor countries are driving religion. I mean, religion is driving poor countries to become even more poor and more destitute. So I would say we can even look just to our southern hemisphere of Haiti. Haiti is a very deeply religious country, but it's also a failed fucking state, and it can't get its shit together because the people think they're going to pray their way out of it. That's what you see all over Africa, large swaths of Latin America, pretty much anywhere where there is a large poor population. They are deeply religious in whatever their faith is. It doesn't. And I would go a step further. I don't worry about a theocracy because I don't even believe the religious leaders believe in the bullshit they're saying. They believe in the control that it gives them. So I think no matter what the faith is, you could be at the very top. They're not even governed by the faith itself. They are just lust. They are broken and corrupted by the power that they have. If you want to go to the Vatican, at the Pope, and so on and so forth, look at how he's venerated around the world because of that faith. And I'm like, but they see what it's doing to the masses of people. So it is a problem everywhere. So even in America, we are controlled and dictated. And people, it's just the control. It's like mind fucking control. They say that, and it's like, and they don't even know what they're believing in, but they have to. They've been taught and conditioned to have to believe in something. So they so deeply believe in it and not know what they believe in. But the people at the top, they control it. And I hate to see the problems that go on in poor parts of the world. Because even in the Middle East, I'm sure you guys know, whether it's look at Afghanistan, Pakistan. Look at what they're doing, and that shit's in the name of religion. What they do to their own people. It's a problem.
I'm gonna push back just a little bit on that last comment. That's I think a misconception when it comes to a lot of the stuff that happens in the Middle East. It's not really for their religion, but their religion it plays such a huge part in their life. Where, like I said, is a prayer for everything. It's and everything you do. It's as a Muslim. That's how they think. Like they're not Afghan first. They're Muslim first. So even if they were to do something like a political act or whatever, everything is within the lens of religion, right? And I think here in the West, we don't live like that, the way they do over there. Like on Fridays, everything. If Sue was in Egypt, he knows like everything shuts down when it's time to pray. Like all the short, everything. It's different. It's a different. So it's such ingrained in who they are as a person. Whereas like that's the last thing when they die is what they say is Allahu Akbar. It's like because that's all that matters to them, you know.
So,
and again, it's yeah. Go ahead.
So I want to ask you a question because I want you to come back to educate me. So when I think of Afghanistan, right, and I think of obviously the power that be is in charge is the Taliban. They're Muslim. So
Yes.
even for a point in time where girls could go to school, they're back in power, and because of their religious dogma, girls can no longer go to school again. You see what I'm saying? So from that lens, explain it to an agnostic how that religion is not having an effect on the people because they're saying based on the religion, the females can't be educated or only educated up to a certain age.
They are. So if it only happens in 5% of the Muslim world, then it can't be generalized for the whole Muslim world. They are over exaggerating. It's just like Saudi Arabia where women can't drive. It's all control. They're just trying to control their women. Maybe they fear their women. I've met a few Afghan women myself, and they're not like they'll talk. You know what I mean? Like they'll speak over. They're very boisterous, and it could be a way for them to just keep their power. And it's political because it doesn't happen in other Muslim countries. For instance, I'll use my tribe for an example. My mom belongs to a women's council, one of many in my tribe, and these women councils they get together one Saturday every month, and you know it's women. It's a group of 30-40 women. They talk politics and they talk social issues, but they also talk like domestic issues. So if there's any domestic violence, whatever, these women will address it themselves. They get together, they figure out what the problem is. Then the men are more like the enforcers, where like we would enforce whatever. So if a woman was getting beaten, it would be brought up in these kind of women clubs, and then the men would kind of approach the husband and talk. So there's a bit of a structure. In Afghanistan, they don't do it like that. For them, it's just pure power and control. But again, if it happens in just 5% of the Muslim world, it's not really down the board. But what they're doing is just they're using scripture and they're exaggerating on it, and they're trying to live the way in Islam they call it sunnah. So what every Muslim is trying to do is live as much like the Prophet as possible. That's why they don't draw the Prophet. That's why there's no image of the Prophet. That's why they get so mad, because they don't want an image of him. We're supposed to be as much like him as we can, is what they think. So they're trying to live like how people lived 1500 years ago, and how people lived 1500 years ago was the man ran the house, the woman would be there was dowry, there was a different system, right, than we live with now that we're accustomed to. But they're trying to stick with that old 1500-year-old system that it doesn't work in today's world. But
can I add this one last part, because I want to make sure that it doesn't seem like I'm trying to pick on Islam, because I see, and I'm glad you pointed out it may be country specific, but I see it the same traits play out, whether it be Christianity, what happens in Africa, because see, people think that all of Africa is Islam. I'm like, no, they have probably half the continent is Christianity based, and they do some terrible things in the name. And I see the same thing in Catholicism, where it permeates throughout Latin America, where it influences the government and some of the laws. So I see it in multiple religions, and to me, the vein that comes through is it's a control mechanism. And when they say that we got to do it, everybody falls back on their religion because it excuses the bullshit that they're pushing on the masses. Because people are not going to want to push back against, if it's in the Middle East, you're not going to push back on Islam. You're not going to push back on Christianity. You're not going to push back on Catholicism, depending on where you're at. But it's you're overlooking the control because of fear of pushing back, because You're taught to pray, and you're taught that if you don't abide by the religion, you're gonna go to hell or wherever you're gonna go.
Oh, it's severe. Like then that's another aspect of we talked about money, but there's also the fear of your peers, right? And Islam does a great job of this, especially in Muslim countries, where if you were just to speak out, or even if you asked a question, and that question was doubtful of your religion or doubtful of your faith, you're getting looked at. You're getting maybe in some countries prosecuted if you post a tweet about is God real? If I post a tweet about, you know what I mean? So then they use that fear as a control mechanism too. Where like you can't question. So if I, let's say, had agnostic thoughts and I was in the Middle East, I got to keep that shit to myself. And another brother over here has to keep that shit to himself. So we can't get on a platform like this and communicate and talk. And if we could in the Middle East or some of these other countries, maybe they would be less I guess strict, for lack of better words. But yeah, no, there's none of this. There's none of this discussion. Even if you were to tell like your closest friend, he'll betray you. It's like you're telling him you're gay if you told him that you don't believe, is that type of stuff. Like he'll go to like authorities or whatever. So yeah, they don't have this what we have here, this privilege, and I'm thankful for it myself, man, because I know what it's like over there, man. So just to be over here, it's a blessing, man.
And I think that's something that we don't talk about, that in America we have the freedom to be like, I don't believe in this. This is BS. I'm going to go to a different church. I'm not going to go to church. I'm going to become a Buddhist. If you lived in Saudi Arabia, you don't have a choice. You have no choice,
Even me, if I went there with my Canadian passport, if I told them I wasn't Muslim, they would be like, I wouldn't be arrested or anything like that, but they would look down on me highly. But if I was Saudi and I said I wasn't Muslim and I was like Saudi born, that you're gonna be beheaded. That's capital death right there. So like it's very serious, and they use that fear, they use that sword as that control and yeah.
And meanwhile, in America, I have a patch that says we all believe in lies, and it's a cross. And I stopped wearing it because every time I wear it in public, someone's like, Romans chapter 1, and they just start screaming at me, I stopped wearing it because people, they get wild. Like, imagine if I was in a different country, the whole town would come together and start throwing stones at me,
So let me ask you, if someone was to say Merry Christmas to you, what was your response to them?
I'd say Merry Christmas back. I'm not offended like that at all in any way, shape, or form. At my job, I work with people that are Muslim. Most people at my job are either Christian or Jewish. I don't have a problem with anyone, in any way, shape, or form.
And Christmas is not a religious holiday in America. That shit long ago died.
Yeah,
that was a commercial holiday.
But we're capitalists. See, but this is what I was going to say.
That's a commercial holiday. That shit long ago died.
In America, we're capitalists. So that goes along with our religion. That's why you get Joel Osteen, Cleflo taking everybody's dollar. That's why you get these people.
Hey, speaking of that, Juneteenth sale is coming up. Everyone's get ready for that Juneteenth sale.
You gotta get the
don't worry
Memorial
about
Day
Juneteenth,
first.
man. We gotta get that red pop, man. We gotta get that red soda. But I do want to ask y'all some more personal questions. I know we kind of broad based it, but I actually want to get into you guys' beliefs and non-beliefs. But I want to know, and this is going to be especially interesting when I get to my so-called life, but I want to start with Yella. So all these people all around the world, billions, believe in God, a version of God or gods. It's almost, I want to say the majority of people. I don't know how big the majority is, but the majority of people believe in God or gods. What is God? Answer that question.
God is whatever the believer wants it to be. And that's what I've seen. That's how I've seen it kind of play out. He could be the savior. Some people treat him like the housekeeping for the hotel to come up and clean up their mess. Some look at him as a father. Some look at him as a bodyguard. It's whatever the believer wants it to be.
Okay. So whatever you need, that's what he becomes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What about you, Dury? What is God?
Well, I'll tell you what I was told to me growing up, what Muslims believe. And again, my perspective for this whole conversation is through the lens of someone who grew up Islam.
Okay.
We don't have an image for God. We don't have a picture. We don't have a deity. There's no idol. There's no image per se. So we don't visualize him in that way. I think God is just a balance of life, is what they believe, like the laws, and ultimately the person that will hold you accountable. But I think it's open to everybody's interpretation, which is why again they kick up a storm anytime someone tries to draw Muhammad or God or something like that. In Islam, it's a big thing not to, because they leave it up to the individual interpretation. However, me myself, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Sumerian beliefs, what they believed 6,000 years ago. And they believe, essentially what they believe is that aliens, extraterrestrials, came down to Earth and engineered us with beings that were here already, maybe monkey-like, ape-like in their likeness. And when I look at stuff like that, and I look at our religion, there's a lot of similarities there, and maybe there's some truth to that. And I kind of referenced before, maybe hell is earth and heaven is space, and we're meant to ascend in life. But maybe people didn't really see that because we don't have science the way we have it now, right? Where we can see stars and we know, okay, there's other planets out there. Maybe it got lost in translation where people thought, okay, we're supposed to ascend after death, but it could be that we're supposed to ascend in life. So God could be alien, is what I'm saying. That's what the Sumerians believed a long time ago, and I think if you use science and a little bit of logic, that might be the most, like, because think about it, we're on Mars, right? In 30 years from now, we'll be on Mars. What about 300 years from now? And if that's the case, are we really the first people or the first organism to do it? So maybe God is some creature out there that's like us, that engineer us. So that's what I think.
Okay. What about you, Rico? What is God?
I can just tell you what they told me he was. Because I mean, because I don't know what I believe. But basically what I've been taught to believe, or I've been instructed he was, is this omnipotent being that's the creator of all things known to man. What we can prove with science and without science. And he is the one that will decide after when you leave this life, your life will be judged as to whether or not you'll be invited into his kingdom off earth and to live eternally, or if you don't believe in him, then you are sent to eternal damnation. So that's what's been instructed to me. But to me, there is none that I've come to believe in. Mm-hmm. So to me, he's nothingness.
Okay.
But I can't say he doesn't exist. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of he language in there, a lot of gendering of this guy that doesn't exist.
He or she, you're right. I don't even know.
It exists or has a penis. What's going on there?
For something you don't know it exists, you show up making it a man. Oh, manosphere ass Negro. That's the manosphere in me coming out.
Oh, and shout out to Mr. He Said, Purple Lover, and Von Eric, who all came in and I didn't agree. My so-called life, I'm definitely interested in your answer to this. I know you don't believe in God, so I'm curious how you conceive of what other people, what I'm saying, how you interpret that word. What do we think it is?
I think first off, you have to ask yourself, what is a God? What is God? What is this thing that we're all trying to put in this? We're literally trying to take something that we say created everything, that is eternity, that is everything, and we're trying to put it in a box and put it in front of us and say, oh, that's what it is. Sometimes I think I know what it is. Sometimes I have no clue what, in any way, shape, or form. I kind of look at I'm gonna, because I'm an agent of chaos, I'm gonna say you're God, I'm God, Yella, like we are God. If you look at most religion, what is it about? It's about suppression. It's about walking around like this. Bob Marley said it the best. Like, what, you're gonna get to heaven and just be high and stare at God the whole time? Doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense, because it's to suppress you, to stop you from being who you are. You know, I'm arrogant because I'm one of those people. No matter what, I keep going. Life gives me lemons. I'm gonna sell you lemonade and lemon pie. You know, I do not stop. That's my optimism. You know, I'm gonna say it's kind of arrogant to think that we know all the answers. I try to live my life in peace, but in the end, if you want a definition of God, I'll say anything that is guiding, organizing, and designing. That's
Guiding,
God.
organizing, designing.
That's
Okay.
God. It's you know, people always say, "Oh, it's the spirit or this or that." In life, every day, if you turn left or right, you will change your life. But you'll never
Yeah.
know because you don't know if you would turn right, you would have met, you know,
Yeah.
Sheila.
Yep.
Or if you turned left, you'd met Mary. You know, you don't know
Yep.
because you're always just going in one direction. I think we're constantly trying to solve these giant problems while the world's on fire right now.
Okay.
You know, so
Yeah.
I'll say God is what you make it. You know, and that's the problem with humanity is that we can't stop killing each other. We can't stop trying to control each other, and that's what creates atheists is how society is now.
Mm.
You know, that is the fastest way to create an agnostic. You know, we used to always say in the community, a good way to create an atheist is have someone read the Bible. Have them read the Quran. Have them actually read it, and then recite back to me in common sense, like, oh, okay, maybe this didn't happen, maybe this didn't. I don't know. That's a hard question for me. I don't have the arrogance to like completely define what a god is, you know. But like I said, I think we beat ourselves up too much. Like we are the gods.
Yeah.
I've been to Mexico and seen in the middle of the jungle, a bunch of 4 or 5 people built pyramids, and these people were literally this tall. They were 4 or 5, all of them.
No,
I
I
think
like.
we deny who we are and the power that's inside of us. You know, it's to me it's weird. To me, like I woke up and I was like, I manifested that coat yesterday. It took me
Yeah.
all day. I watched the entire stream yesterday. I was fighting it, but I wanted it to happen, so it happened. You know,
Yeah.
we deny who we are too much.
No,
Now I have
I like that
O2.
guiding, organizing, designing. I like that.
I
I
just
like
wanted to
that.
say I saw the last video stream last night myself with that hat and coat on. You look
Yeah.
like a former cartel member that turned into a professional gambler.
I like it. I like it.
It was hilarious, man.
Oh, I love that coat. I love that. It's my pimp coat. That's my official pimp coat.
I had to
That
see
match
him.
was funny.
I had to see him.
I'll ask y'all another question because everybody kind of has gotten to a place where they do not believe in the God that they were given or God at all. So I want to go around and figure out how do you then explain existence? How I know like my so-called just talked about the big questions, like the world's on fire. We had like, but how do you reckon with that? Or do you even bother with the big questions of why we're here? Where do we come from? Dury had the ancient aliens, but I want to hear from y'all. How do y'all reconcile? How are humans here? Is it random? Is it just matter that came together? Is it alien seeding? Is it what? How have you conceived of it in your head, Rico?
I can tell you this. I believe in shit like the Big Bang.
Okay.
So I believe, I believe in like Darwin's theory. I believe that as the earth has went through certain evolution, species have evolved, and we always do, and we always will until we blow this whole fucking place up. I do believe in that, and the thing is, my belief in some of the a lot of my belief in established science, I think helps my disbelief in faith, because for most things I can find a scientific reasoning for why it is. And it doesn't mean, again, it still doesn't mean that other being doesn't exist, or but it's just like I can find a scientific reason almost for everything in my life. So then it just makes me say, well, why should I believe in something unknown when goddamn most things that I've seen, haven't seen everything, we know why. So basically, I know if I put water in a freezing temperature, the science behind how it makes ice. I don't think the hand of God made it turn that liquid turn into ice. I just, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. That's for me. So I do believe in the Big Bang. I do believe we were amoebios, whatever, that eventually over time, and because we've done scientific tests how we've seen same-sex animals, certain types of frog be able to reproduce without a partner. I've seen a lot of these things. So that for me, this is until I see enough evidence for me to say I can see enough science to support the creation of life and the continued existence of life. And I haven't seen the hand of the being that I acknowledge might be real or may exist.
Gotcha.
Was necessary.
But you are a believer, just believer in science and what's provable.
I'm a big believer in science, and I'm no scientist, but I'm I'm a huge believer in science.
Okay, down to the science man himself, Yella Nye, the science high. Yella, what about you? How do you reconcile all this crazy, wild, dangerous, amazing, beautiful stuff? It just came out of nowhere? Not nowhere.
See, I think I've been kind of trying to say this in a certain way for about 2 weeks, just to myself, right? Mm-hmm. I don't care enough to reconcile with it.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't register on the need to do list for me, right? Kind of takes away from the experience of being here.
Okay.
Is worrying about what's there or out there. So I watch a lot of science shit. So I'm kind of in the same boat with Rico. There's to a level where I'm gonna believe science shit, and then there's part of me that's gonna believe, right? Well, whatever did that, it was pretty cool. But I know that. Okay, I'm 6'2", about 3 something. To the average person, I'm huge. In the vastness of the universe, I'm almost invisible.
Not even dust.
I'm almost invisible. I'm invisible. I'm barely the particle of the particle of the particle. I'm barely the nanoparticle. You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a shit how we got here. We could have got here by accident. We could have grew out of God's shit for all I know. You know what I'm saying? We could be an accident. We could be. I've had the thought that we was just here. We was like an experiment, and we got left in the petri dish. You know how remember we used to take the potato and put the sticks in it and put it in the jar and sit it next to the window in class and
just
the
let it go.
I believe we're that. This could be a simulation. It could be anything. I just don't give a shit enough to be right about which one it is. I think the freedom is in not knowing and not having to know. Because guess what? All this knowing, y'all preparing like we getting the job. Ain't none of y'all finna get promoted to God. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why am I? You know what I'm saying? Why are you doing all? You're not finna get promoted to God. There's no, and it's causing you. If it didn't cause and especially, like I said, how can I say it? If it didn't cause so much division, if the need to know in itself didn't cause so much division, I probably would give a shit to want to know.
Okay.
You see, I can't even know without somebody objecting to what I know. Because I know that people don't do that outside of religious beliefs. We sit up here and we have male-female conversations. Nobody can agree on what to know because everybody's right and everybody's wrong.
Fair.
Sports shit. Niggas been arguing LeBron versus Jordan for years.
Yeah.
There's no equity in being right. No equity. There's really no Jesus points because you're not finna. You can't cash it in for nothing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And guess what? It also could be where all of this matters. And everything you're learning gets you a better standing. You could. So, but it's just the fact that I hear so many people speak as if it's important in the now, and it's not. And while ever we're here, we're supposed to be doing something here. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be keeping us going. Fuck while we're here. We're here now. You know what I'm saying? We've been here a little too long to really even give a shit while we're here at this point. We need to figure out how the fuck we gonna get away from here in the next 3 million years or so. And Mars ain't the answer, Derry. I know Derry said go to Mars. That motherfucker blowing up, that sun blowing up scientifically. It's blowing the fuck up in about 3 million years. So everything from here to Pluto is finna get yeeted. So if we building this generational wealth for it to only die off in 3 million years, I feel like we need to figure out some bigger shit than why we're here and figure out where the fuck we finna go next.
Oh man. I respect it. What about you, Dory? Do you care about why we're here? Are these questions, do they annoy you?
I just want to say Yella kind of said kind of what I said, where maybe religion was lost in translation. We're supposed to ascend in life. Like maybe that's the thing. Maybe we're let's build some rocket ships and find out where our origins are, because maybe it is out there. Because it definitely isn't. It's not death, Because if I think God has become a placebo for a lot of people. It's that hope when they're hopeless, and I think I'm a little too grown for placebos. I don't want one. I don't need one. So give me some facts, give me some science, But as it stands right now, my theory is God is a placebo for a lot of people.
I like that. Now that is a term I believe in as well. But my so-called life, what about you? Why are we here then? Why are we here? How did we get here?
So, as someone who grew up as a child of NASA, I'm a care. Hold on, let me open up my Care Bear. I'm a Care Bear. I care how we got here, but it's more in a way to stop suppression. It's weird to me how the story of how we can all trace our mitochondrial DNA back to one African tribe got just kind of washed over, and that came out 20 something years ago. We can use science to our advantage to be like, hey, we're the same. I think sometimes when people say that science is a religion and this or that, like that's just a cop out. There are certain things I want to know, but like I said earlier, like we don't care about, like, every day people talk about how bad the world is, but then you walk past 45 homeless people, you call Johnny down the street a crackhead, maybe he needs help. Maybe you should give Johnny a job, or you know what I'm saying, or walk him over to the grocery store and he should be a checker or something. I think sometimes we add to the problem. I don't know. I'm cynical as hell because I work with mentally disabled adults and I did outreach forever. That'll make you be like society is. It'll make you hate society.
Yeah. It can definitely.
Right. And to kind of build on what you're saying, Marcel, it makes me hate them more when God is able to be used as an excuse.
That is my biggest pet peeve. I agree with you.
Or like it's always a fallback, right? Or it's always, and I just see that with us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I just see that with us. Like a lot of Black folks' success and failures, they predicate on God or the devil. If I go to work and if I get a new car, it's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go to work for it. You know what I'm saying? If I say no, the reason you get that car is because you took your ass to work. for 40 hours a week for the last 6 months and saved us some money and bought your car. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So if you don't get that job that's able to afford you that car, it's the devil stopping you. Well, no, you might be dumb as shit, and you might not be able to be qualified for that job that you're trying to do. You know, it's a lot of that. And I sit back and watch it, and I'll be like, man, why do we put so much stock into that? Because we worry too much about why we're here. I hear a lot of that from us. It's like, why we here, trying to figure out our purpose. I think that was my push. There we go. Purpose.
Got it.
Purpose. That's my main pushback about it. We as Black folks feel like we need purpose. The only things that need purpose are things that are intentionally made. We feel like we are intentionally and specially made. So we feel like we need to achieve something exponentially great here. And if we don't, we fell short of somebody or something that we don't even know is responsible for it.
Mm.
We could be working for a savior and somebody to give us the keys to the golden, or we could have been put here by a tormentor. You know what I'm saying? We could have been put here by the exact equal energy, the exact opposite energy of what God is. Because most people don't even, you either don't believe in him, or you look at God as a good thing. Hold on, my bad.
I think a lot of the problem is also that we are looking at, we're looking up, but we're also looking around. So when I think some of the times when we talk about God, we're talking about the suppression of human beings. We're talking about wars and death. And because when I look at religion, it's people waging war with each other. I'm not thinking of someone going to the mosque, someone going to church. I'm thinking of these giant conglomerates warring with each other. But again, I don't have a stake in the game as far as religion goes. I think modern day religion causes more death and destruction than we give it credit for. And because now we use machines instead of people, we can sit and watch it, but it's still the same thing. Nothing has changed from the day that the English would go get the serfs in all their towns and then okay, we're going to go march over here and fight these people. Nothing's changed. It's all about control.
It's all regurgitated. Like in Islam, I've always felt like Islam is just a continuation kind of Christianity, because we believe in Jesus, but we believe in him to be a prophet, along with 24 other prophets, 25 in total. But it's a lot of it's recycled. Like there's a chapter in the Quran called Maryam. It's about Mary and the virgin birth and everything like that. So it chronicles all of that, and this is in the Quran, right? So it's like it's the same tree, different branch. You know what I'm saying? So let's go down to the root, and let's dig deeper and figure out where these stories are really coming from. But as far as like philosophy, whoever has time to be asking these questions, I think has too much time on their hands. Like if you're asking about like purpose and whatnot, you're very privileged in life and you're very comfortable. Because me, I work a lot. I got bills. I got stress. So I don't have the time to be thinking about why I'm here. I just know I'm here, and I got shit to do. Because if I don't, who's gonna do it, right? So I think the buck kind of stops for me there.
We have a rule at my job.
I swear I said that same shit earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard something, and it was like that's the conclusion I came up to it. I was like, this is just a privileged ass mindset, like a privileged train of thought.
Yeah, no, if you look at all the great philosophers like from back in the day, these are all privileged men. They were all already high statured. Because any man that didn't have anything for himself, he wouldn't be hurt. Like no one's gonna write for you, no one's gonna read your books, no one's gonna take you serious. But these other guys who came from high status, people listen to them, and their names are now enshrined in history. You can talk about Aristotle and all these type of different Greek philosophers. It's high circles that they were in.
I have a crazy question. Is being rich a sin? Is having more money than everybody else a sin?
I don't think so, but I think it could be.
I think pride is a sin. So to be prideful in what you have, I think in Islam at least it is. Right. So if you do have it, you're supposed to keep it under wraps. Supposed to be modest. Supposed to be humble. But if you go out and you boast about it, that's when it becomes, I guess, haram.
But can't largesse or excess be considered somewhat sinful? Because obviously, any man who has more than his abundance of his need to hoard that, whatever it is, whether it's money, whatever it is, and
They'll
then
flip it on you.
buying other people. Now I would say it wouldn't be if I was rich and everyone else in the world had what they needed. But for me to be rich among a population of poor people, I think that is pretty fucking sinful.
Okay, but what if you're rich and you're around everybody else has the exact same income as you?
Then I don't, you know what I'm saying? Then it's not largesse or
then it's not rich. Everybody's got
rich.
the same.
Exactly.
A lot of these guys, I'll use Saudi Arabia as an example.
Well, I'll say like, oh, go ahead, dude, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that Saudi Arabia as an example, they use like they have a lot of wealth, but for them, they have this mentality like God bestowed it upon them, and it's their duty, and it's a family duty, and they'll just flip it on. So it's like you're modest up until you have something. Once you have something, it's kind of like sorry, my so-called, I'm gonna use it as an example. You were religious before when times were tough, but then you stopped and times are better now, right? And I think for some of these guys, it's kind of the same, maybe even flipped on the other side, where it's like, okay, when they don't have money, they find God, or they look for that hope. But then once they have it, it's like, oh God. Like you could look at these mega churches and Joel Osteen and whatnot, and these private jets that they have. They'll flip any excuse on, why do you have a private jet? Oh, God gave it to me so I could reach my people. They'll flip whatever excuse they can on you.
Well, I didn't have a choice. Right. And when I finally stood up for myself, I started relying on myself. So I stopped praying. I went out and got 2 jobs. And then I went out and got 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I became more self-reliant and less asking people for help. And I was born into an extremely religious family, so I didn't know anything besides going to church. I went every Sunday until I was 17. I don't think people understand.
But my so-called, I think that goes back to your question. Is being rich a sin? I think strongly in a way it is. Because again, I conflate it to a man having excess, especially being in a population where there are so many, not having less, but without. So if I was rich with an abundance of crops and food, and my neighbors or the people on the other side of town was starving, that's a sin for me not to share that abundance to feed them. That's the way I, in my little bit of, I think even if you take the religion out of it, just secularly, it's fucking wrong for you to have plentiful and other people to have nothing. It's the wrong thing to do not to share.
Okay, then is it wrong? Like, is it wrong to be a capitalist then? To have the
I definitely think capitalism is fucked up. Period. For a number of reasons.
No, the reason I ask that is because I balance between that all the time. I'm a director of operations at a job, and it's not easy. I was on one side and now I'm on the other. Capitalism is messed up. It's crazy how certain people get rewarded for certain things and other people get the shaft. It's insane.
Mm-hmm. Capitalism is shit. It's fucked up. But I'm not, and I say that, but while the caveat you have to give is, well, would I replace it with any of the other known systems, ergo socialism? No, some of the other things. I don't think capitalism is the better of all that I'm aware of, but it is still fucked up. So I think socialism is better, but it's the other extreme of capitalism that I don't like about socialism. I like socialism, but I would like capitalism if it wasn't so fucking extreme. That's what I dislike about capitalism. It's so extreme and it so over rewards people for things that they shouldn't be over rewarded. And it didn't used to always be this way.
Well, we have what's called uncontrolled capitalism now,
Yeah.
where you can make billions and people are someone literally down the street from you is starving. Like in LA, we have what's called the Miracle Mile. Some of the richest people in the world live in these high rises, and it all overlooks the hood. They literally, all you see is the hood. You stand in your building, all you see are people who are barely making it. I think that's crazy.
I agree.
But it's got to be like that. It's
Does
kind of got to be like that. That's the. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of got to be like that. You can't have rich without poor people.
I think it's a matter of just I think Rashawn brought this up in a previous stream where he covered Jordan Peterson. It's less the poverty, but more the poverty gap. Yeah, the inequity. If that was narrow and more narrow, I think it would be better. But because it's such a big gap, that's where the problems start, and that's when people start looking at it as if it might be sinful because it feels wrong. It feels unbalanced per se.
It's more than it feels wrong. The gap is unearned. It's unmerited. So in America, we claim we are meritocracy, right? But that gap was not increased on merit. It was created on exploitation. You know what I'm saying? That's basically why the gap is so wide, is because the rich, through the policies, tax, the regressive tax policy, shit like that, where they get taxed less than we do, and capital gains and all sorts of shit that they put in to further enrich themselves while furthering the widening of the poor. So if it was all genuinely earned, the inequality, I would be more accepting of it. But I'm like, you motherfuckers goose the system. Y'all game the fuck out of it, and then y'all look at us and say, well, you got to learn how to play the system or play the game. No, it shouldn't be a fucking game. It should be fair, period. It shouldn't be a game, but I know it is.
Man. And I hate to be the one arguing this one. I hate because I'm the should be fair motherfucker. I'm the balance of the balance type motherfucker. But I understand this. I understand the function of the scale isn't to make things even. It's just to find a balance. So sometimes it's got to be more on one end and just a little bit on the other side for it to balance. Because if it's all on one side or if everybody getting, then it's either even or it's falling all the way off. Even doesn't really help. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm just kind of like, with rich being a sin, is wealth a sin? No. Because you can get your money the right type of way. You can earn your money. You can earn your wealth without having to do weird shit with people and end up in court cases and NDAs and stuff. You can do that you can achieve that. The problem is that even when that's done, we still try to hold them responsible. Because I'm of the type where I don't have to share. I just don't have to do wrong with my money. I just don't have to fuck up.
Sorry. Do you think it's wrong for preachers to have to make millions like Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen?
Yes.
Do I think that's wrong?
We live in America, though. Like at least in America, you can do it's legal to do that.
Still, but you didn't ask whether or not it was legal. You asked, was it right or wrong?
That's why I asked that question.
As Arshawn answered, and I would agree, hell yes, it's wrong. It's immoral.
I mean,
but immoral based on what?
Based on their religion, based on their religious dogma. They're to do for the meek. You know what I'm saying? That religion is about giving to those who have less than.
How do you know they don't?
I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying they don't do it. If there is anybody still in need and you flying around on a fucking private jet, you ain't done it enough.
How you gonna get it to
You
him?
ain't done it enough. So you don't
You need
even
the jet to
purchase
get it
a
to him.
private jet.
Cleflo.
So no.
So here's where I would argue that, right? I wouldn't so much as hold Joel Osteen responsible. I'm looking at the people giving him the money.
Fair point. Fair point.
Because these are wealthy people giving him a lot of money. The wealthy people go to the mega churches and they give him the money. But those are the people that have the power, ability, and responsibility to help the people in the neighborhood. They're giving money to this dude and he don't need it.
I know someone who used to work for Cleflo Dollar, and it was in the Atlanta-based church. It was a pyramid scheme. He's an atheist now, but like, you know, they made certain amount of money, but Cleflo was making crack dealer kind of money, like just unreal money.
This is where I would say, Yella, that probably throws me off is I'm not as upset at the rich people giving him money. I'm upset with the fucking poor people giving him money.
That's my beef.
Because I'm like, if you rich, okay, motherfucker, you stupid, but you got it to give. If you poor, what the fuck are you giving? That plate can come past me all fucking day long. I ain't putting shit in it because I ain't got shit to put in. But see, again, that's the control. That's the manipulation. Because these poor people are giving, believing that they're going to receive a blessing on the other side. And who the fuck is selling them that? Who's selling that bullshit? Not the rich people, but that motherfucker standing behind the pulpit. That's the problem. They're selling what they don't have to sell. They're selling a blessing that they don't have to give. They're selling this shit, and they're selling it to the poor and the fucking uninformed. That's what I dislike, and that's what's sinful within itself, because he don't have to sit there and say, oh, you know, drop it in or give me, the tithe, and I'm going to give you the blessing. Bless me anyway, motherfucker. Bless me anyway. That shit should be free. You didn't do nothing for it.
Benny Hinn, but what's his name? Benny Hinn.
It should be free.
You should be walking around blessing everybody, just knocking people down. Just
to have a fucking price tag.
Are you sorry? No, if I had that power, I would just be walking around all day. Just bless you, bless you. Smoking a J, bless you, bless you.
You put a price tag on a blessing. That shit is wild to me.
Oof. I know you right though, Rico. And I understand what you're saying. It's the double-edged sword of watching the person knowingly buy the snake oil. Mm-hmm. Right.
And the person that's selling it. Yeah, it's
right. Because that's what I don't feel bad, because the people, I don't really hold the innocent responsible. Right, like if you're not knowing, if you're just, you know what I'm saying, if you willfully doing that, then cool. I can't really knock you for that. It's the people who are all knowing, it's the ones who feel like they know everything, or you know what I'm saying, who are above where they at. You buying into that shit, you a part of it. You know what I'm saying? You a part of the system, you a part of what's going on, and I ain't knocking you. I miss my calling if that's the case. I really miss my calling. I could have been
white collar criminals.
I could have been just stealing from you niggas. Like I could have just been stealing from you niggas. And I mean, because y'all talk about morally ambiguous. Shit. Get it how you, that's why I'm like, get it how you live. Just don't.
So you don't think there's anything wrong with Joel Osteen making millions and millions and not letting people in during Hurricane Harvey, like Haley said in his church?
I don't think I don't care about a message either way to feel like Joel Osteen was right or wrong in making any decision. It's and I think that's kind of this is like gonna kind of emphasize my
question
whole
after this.
So the fact that Joel Osteen would be questioned on his moral stance because of what he says on a stage, if that matters to you, it don't matter to me. I don't care if you don't believe, kind of believe, sort of believe, looking under a tree, hoping that it leaves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because him being right or wrong ain't gonna change nothing. Because guess what? If he was wrong and we caught him and punished him however we feel like, it's gonna be 3 of him tomorrow.
That's real. There's a church on every corner in my neighborhood.
No,
So let me ask y'all a question.
Oh, my bad. I was just gonna say it's a funny thing. It's a funny song. It's a Chicago song, and they be like, "We got a church, a liquor store, and a Walgreens." And when I tell you that's how most situations is set up, that's why it's like the next one that blow up is the next one who gonna get caught. So to care about that, yeah, fuck it.
So then what I want to ask you, gentlemen, because everybody here pretty much said it was wrong on some capacity, immoral, wrong, unethical, for them to carry all that abundance, all them blessings, and hoard them. But what standard are we judging them by? I know Yella backed out of judging them, but everybody else is like, nah, it's wrong. But how can we call it a sin? Because one, if I'm not mistaken, nobody believes in that God that would call it a sin. That's the first part. Then the second part, we all believe in, like, our system is capitalism and democratic republic. Both of those are okay with that kind of money. It's also what system are we judging them as morally wrong on if we don't believe in their system of morality, and then all of our systems that we abide by are okay with it? Where's this line at?
Okay, for me it's simple. I judge them by the suffering of those who do not have. The suffering of those.
How can they account for?
How
can they account for all of the people who suffered?
No, not and of course, obviously, you have to confine it to a specific area. So again, Joel Osteen is in fucking Houston, right?
Okay.
I think he's in Houston, right? So to wherever he is, he's this big mega church.
Okay. So
his largesse to me, I judge it by the standard of the people in that nearby community. You know, especially the people, even the people, I will start with the people, his flock. But see, the thing is, according to religious people, you're not supposed to proselytize just to your flock. You're supposed to preach the word to all. So preach to all of those, or whatever you preach. Yeah. All of those.
Not pay the word, preach it.
Okay. So my judgment for people who have largesse is that if you have large numbers of people in your sphere suffering, that's the yardstick that I'm measuring your sorry ass by. Because I'm like, you shouldn't have that largesse when you see that the need is great. I can accept you having largesse or excess or abundance if the need is low, but that is the very thing that you're supposed to be raising this fucking money for. How can the principle? How can the principle? Well, of course. Fuck your building fund, fuck your jet fund, and all that, because that's all largesse. Because again, what did it say? Where three of us come, you will find out. So I don't even think you have to have a mega church, but they all gotta have one. Because that's vanity. That's fucking vanity. So the TD Jakes, all of them, they full of shit. I'm sorry.
I want to say something really quick.
Fuck the religious leaders. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Before I forget my point. No, I smoke a lot, so I have 5-minute memory loss.
That's okay.
Damn it! I forgot my point. Damn it! I forgot.
Okay, so let me ask you, Rico. Let me to refine the point. We cannot determine who of those people who need help have reached out. We can't determine how much outreach they do. We can't determine how many people are in Houston. That's millions of people. Because I know there are legitimate agencies that can't reach everybody because some people don't even want help. Some people they won't accept help. Whether it's pride, whether they're not in the state to accept it. I can give you a house tomorrow, you'll burn it down in 6 days. Yeah. There are some people that just cannot. be helped. I've seen some of these people. I know they're druggies that have died. Their parents have gone into debt trying to get them clean, getting them a car, getting them a job, getting them a house, and they died on fentanyl. Like, I know this path. Some people will not recover based on what you do for them. So just because they have money does not mean they can affect the kind of change that you're saying they should change.
Okay.
Money doesn't solve all problems.
Let me say this, and I understand. Okay, you're right. Money doesn't solve all problems, right? And I know what you're saying. So I'm not saying that as leaders of the faith, they have to go out and help individuals. I'm saying as leaders of the faith, you see where a need exists for whatever it is. You see needs in your community that need to be filled, and you don't wait for those in need to come asking. You're supposed to be out there among, according to their book, they were out there among the whores. They were out there among the murderers. They were out there among the sinful people trying to convert them. So they know where the fucking need is. They know where the need is. So to sit there and tell, again, like I said, I can accept it if your community doesn't have need. But they're putting their needs first, which is what the problem is. Well, they know those needs exist, but they want that mega church first. They want that nice car. See, and I'm like, man, I don't even begrudge your pimp ass for being a pimp. But can't you take care of the fucking needs first? They need the needs undone. Go ahead. I'm sorry, myself.
No, it's okay. It's also intention, okay? I am a blind capitalist. If you work for me, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make a ton of money and you're going to make money too, but I'm going to make more than you. You know my intentions from the jump. You know I'm going to pay for your health insurance, everything, but at the end of the day, I'm going to make 9 times more money than you do. The problem is preachers come talking about Jesus and all of these things that have nothing to do with that, and they rip you off. They come with bad intentions. They're literally wolves in sheep's clothing. I'm a wolf in wolf's clothing. I'm going to tell you to your face, I'm an American. I'm here to make money. Like, what can you do for me? I'm not going to lie to you. Man. You know? So that's my whole point.
That's the fair, because that's the system of capitalism, which is a system of exploitation of the masses, and that's fine. You know, so at least you're selling something that you can actually sell. So for me, I'm sitting there saying, so literally, what do the religious leaders say? I'm gonna give you salvation. Ugh. Right? Yeah. Like, supposedly I'm gonna pray for you and you're gonna blah 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 blah.
Triggered.
I mean, that's and I just struggle. Like, again, to me, it's like you're putting a price tag on something that one should be free, and I don't even know if you have it to give. I don't know if it's yours for the giving. So why, again, but you created this largesse off of this idea of putting a price tag and selling shit that you don't have, yet you gonna tell me, well, if you didn't come and ask me, motherfucker, I didn't ask you to take money from them people to sell them some bullshit either, but you did that. you intentionally of your own could see, oh, I see the suckers. I didn't tell you to be P.T. Barnum, motherfucker, but you got a church full of suckers, and you went out and you willfully took from them, but yet you're going to tell me you couldn't go out and you couldn't find people in need, or you couldn't find areas where you could do better. I don't accept that. They're not looking to help, because that's not what they're in the business of. They're in the business of fleecing the suckers.
That's what it's been since day one, though, since the jump. That's what it's about.
Oh, yeah. So, but I measure them by me seeing people in need, but they'll never pay the bill because that's not their business. They're not interested in it, like they say.
They pay bills.
Say what?
The churches pay bills. They have help centers. They have pantries. Right. They have clothing. Mm-hmm. They have lots of things. Child care. There are lots of things that
and they're making money off of all that shit. They're making money off of all that.
So basically, what I heard you say, Rico, was that people that go to church and give are suckers. That's what I heard.
No, if you, I put like this. I don't think you're a sucker for believing in what you believe, and I don't think you're a sucker for having a faith. Do I think you can be a sucker by giving to those who are basically, if you're not vetting and validating your religious leaders, yeah, I think the overwhelming majority of people who go to church are suckers because, and I think unintentionally. I think unintentionally.
I don't think anybody tries to be a sucker.
But
I
they
don't think anybody tries
participate, like Yella said. They participate.
I
think their heart's in the right place. They've been told to believe, and that's that's the hook. That's the hook.
I think it's people not taking personal responsibility. I hate to keep on saying that, but at some point you got to put your boots on, and you have to do it yourself. Again, I'm a self-starting kind of person, but like, you can't sit around. To quote RZA, you can't sit on the roof, dust it out, waiting for chariots. You can't. You're gonna waste your life. You know.
Okay, so wait a minute. Go ahead, Yellow. I got a point to make based on what everybody just said.
No, go ahead.
So then my point. So if that's the case, you need to get your boots and lace them up, pull up your bootstraps and get to work, right? If that's what needs to be done, and you're suckers for not vetting your leaders, that means it cannot be a sin because these people are idiots. Like, these people are giving over their power.
Wait, you switching though. See,
they're suckers. If they're suckers and need to get to work, if these suckers that need to get to work, it's on them.
No, but
this is their fault.
Anshan, you moved the sin. The sin was never on the believers. The sin was on the preachers. That was the question that was asked.
Hold on. I get that. But I'm saying that the sin is not where you're saying it is.
Sinners. I don't believe the believers are sinners.
If I stand on a corner and I sell snake oil to you, and I know it doesn't do anything, I'm wrong.
Yes,
that's on me. But if I don't choose to look into snake oil, people are telling me the snake oil doesn't do anything, and if I hand you my money, that's on me.
Agree.
So there's a sin on both sides of the equation.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I mean,
yes.
I mean,
I don't think a sin is on both sides. Fucking. Go ahead, Yellow.
No, I kind of want to interject because thinking it's a sin at all includes some level of belief in that. So if you're judging what somebody like Joel Osteen is doing, is because you believe that he should be doing it a certain way. Now, this ain't to call nobody's belief into things. This is just kind of like the idea.
Yeah.
It seems weird, right? Looking at it from the outside. But it's no point of trying to help people who don't want to. If you're seeing somebody drive into the wall on purpose, ain't no point in trying to stop them from doing that, right? That's what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And if they're paying into that, I think a lot of more people are kind of knowing than what's going on. I don't look at it as a sin. I mean, I'm gonna take money people give me too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's.
But are you claiming to give them the answer to eternity? Are you claiming to save their soul? Klepto Dollar willingly ripped off poor black people. He should be. I'm not gonna say what I think should happen to.
I mean, but okay. So that starts another conversation for me, because it's a rabbit hole that we don't really go down. We can't expect bad people to not exist.
Mm-hmm.
We put a heavy load on trying to stop bad people from doing bad things. Mm-hmm. I think that is the fight uphill of all centuries of the life of existence. Trying to stop, because that takes more effort into helping the people that's affected by them. We're not gonna stop Diddy's from existing. That's why he ain't the first or the last one to do this. We ain't gonna stop these people from existing. So that's why I say, what are we putting the effort into creating whatever we think is better, right? We can't stop them people at this point, because we're in the year 2024. We can't stop these people from going to church. We can't stop people from going to Joel Osteen, because from what I see I'm a spectator, right? I'm a spectator. I sit on the bench. I watch the whole thing play out. I mean, I sit in the stands. I watch the whole thing play out. It's just going to be oh, well, they're just the devil trying to stop us from doing our mission. And it's further going to increase his power. Whatever power we think we're going to stop from him is just going to further increase it. That's the system we're in now. I know we don't like the idea of having to play the game, but we got to, and that's just a part. That's the unfortunate part of the game. I don't consider myself a gamer. I don't. I suck at MLB. I'm trying to see the shit all the time. But the point is that there's some people that play the game the right way, and there's some people that don't. And your only responsibility should be just playing the game how you feel is the right way to play. If you can cheat, though, cheat, people. Cheat. Cheat. Like I'm not. Because,
at what point?
We're also not playing a fair game either. We can't make the game fair, and there's people cheating at an unfair game. Life and existence is unfair.
There's many different subjects in there, though, because there's a difference. You have the knowledge, so you know what's going on. People who are willfully, I know, but you know enough to know that you don't know shit. People who are willingly ignorant don't even know that. They live their whole life walking around just looking at their feet, saying, "Oh, I wonder what this guy looks like."
Ignorant is different from being ignorant. Right. If you're willingly ignorant, then that's different.
Yeah.
Right. But if you just here's the thing, in Islam, it comes all down to intention. What was your intention? If you bought snake oil thinking that it was snake oil or whatever, thinking that it was a miracle, whatever, then that's not on you. But if you sold it with the intention of ripping somebody off, then technically that's haram, and that's when it becomes sinful. So I would disagree on the both people in that interaction being sinful. But at what point does it become predatory? Because what we have is these people. I look at it no differently from like OnlyFans models or some of these celebrities who are milking their fans. Like, so at what point do we call it out and say, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing here?" And I think these guys are smarter. Like, okay, we'll use Joel for an example. I don't think that he's benefiting from charity donations. I don't. I think he's smarter than that. I think he makes a lot of money from like little stuff like book sales, appearances. He rents out his arena to different people. He makes probably a shit ton on parking. They're probably paying $20 a car for each car that's there. There's 1,000 cars there, whatever, So he has different revenue sources where I don't think because once the congregation finds out that he's reaching into the basket and pulling funds that are meant to go towards charity, I think that would rub them differently. We don't really have this problem in Islam. I think all the imams and all the people that run mosques generally they keep shit in order because of that fear. Because like Muslims, they don't fuck around with that shit. Like if you fuck around or if you're doing something wrong, like they'll cut you. They'll replace you with somebody else. There's always somebody more powerful than you. The only reason why Joel exists is because of his grip on the people that he has, and ultimately you have to kind of put the blame on them, right? Like, yeah, they're ignorant, yeah, they're sheep, but they're also adults. These guys they work 9 to 5s, they have their jobs, they have careers. At some point, it's like I don't look at them any differently than the people in the line buying lottery tickets. Like in my head, I'm thinking, you fucking idiot, you just blew $50 on what, But then again, I smoke weed and I do buy different vices, so to each their own, But if it makes them feel better that they go in and they're contributing $50 or whatever the case, and hopefully it goes back to the placebo effect. It's all just whatever makes them feel better in their heads. But when we're looking at it from the outside as non-believers, instantly we just think, okay, this is a scam. This is they're being taken advantage of. But there's very little that we can do except not participate.
That's it.
Yeah, what I would say to Dory's point, that's why I say I put it on both sides, because both sides are being predatory, and we never see the person in the lower end of a power dynamic as predatory, but they're looking for somebody to take away. They're seeking out resources. Hey, I have these problems in my life. I need a solution. I'm not going to do what so-called life said and fix my life. I'm not going to make the decisions that would benefit me. I'm not going to work 2 to 3 jobs. I'm going to go buy this lottery ticket. This lottery ticket's name is just Jesus. Well, but hold up real quick. Hold up. If that's the case, that end of the power dynamic also has to have accountability because they're adults. Like Dory said, they have to be looked at as people who are capable of making these rational decisions. If we're not capable of doing that for them, we also can't do it for the people at the top end of the power dynamic either, because they are in a system that teaches, that reinforces what they're doing. Like Quantum put in the chat, money answereth all things. The Bible has a lot of scripture that allows room for people to gain large amounts of money and excuse it. You would have to overlook some other scriptures. Like everybody selectively scripturizes. Everybody does that. As far as anybody that's in the Christian land, they pick the ones they like and they kind of skip over the ones they don't. There's enough pro monetary gain. The God will bless you and open up the windows of heaven, and you won't have room enough to receive. And the prayer of Jabez. I mean, there's a bunch of enlarge my coast and expand my territory. There's a ton of things. Job, I'm gonna take away. All this stuff is gone. I'm gonna give you double for your trouble. You got twice as many cattle, and you got twice as much land, and you got twice as many kids now. And you know, the Bible can be used to reinforce the fact that you can have a lot of money and then excuse it as you're supposed to do good with it. It allows you to do the work of the kingdom, God's will, all that. So we can't take it away from them and say they know what they're doing, they have bad intention, and then say to the people at the bottom, no, they're just innocent little sheep and they're being misled. That's not fair. We have to give the same ability on both sides. Everybody can buy in.
Can I ask, because I didn't grow up in the church, is there are you obligated to donate annually or every time you go to church? Like, is there a
every
expectation?
Yeah.
Sorry, every week. No matter what church you go to, they want that money every week. That's
where that money bowl at? Where that money bowl? Where that money bowl?
I love that part at the end. I love that.
I just want to ask a question. Is the one thing that I think what I want y'all to tell me that I'm missing is in the dynamic, I see one person receiving something and the other person receiving nothing. You know what I'm saying? So again, you know, I'm making a financial contribution based on my belief. And again, what am I receiving other than my belief in you?
You get to go in that beautiful big building there that you are paying for.
It's like, but they're not selling it as an admission. There's, you know, again, when I'm putting that money in the money bowl, again, based on what you're telling me. So that's where I say, for me, I guess I struggle with the sin being equal, because one person is sinning and actually receiving a tangible thing.
But there is a tangible thing. Listen, one person receiving a tangible thing.
Right.
The ministry itself is a tangible thing. The fact that you can go somewhere and get prayer, the fact that you can go somewhere and receive, I guarantee you, Joel Osteen's church, T.D. Jakes, any mega church, I guarantee you that they have some kind of outreach program. I would put money on it. Almost every small church has some kind of outreach program. My mother, they got about 6 to 8 people that are constant members, and they give supplies to this school. There are tangible things that come back out. There are, they even, my mother's a small little church, they've paid bills for people. I know these mega churches have done too. I've seen them buy cars for people. So what I'm saying is there are tangible things that come back, but the most readily thing that comes back, and like Dory said, is placebo, it's hope. The biggest thing that you're paying into is the hope that God is going to bless you. That's the biggest thing. And that may not be tangible, but it's meaningful. Because
oh no, they're smarter now. Sorry, in my mosque, they're smart now. They got a whole board up. I don't know if you guys have this in your churches, but they have a whole board up where they have like a leaderboard where if you donate, let's say you donate $1,000, but they're putting your name up there. So it's like a competition where people want to see status.
And now you get status too.
And what these people are doing is that they're donating with their. So if I own a dealership, I'm putting my dealership's name up there, so everyone can see. Mo's Auto donated 10,000. Now all these Muslims are gonna be like, "Oh, that's a good Muslim. Let me go buy a car from there." And it's becoming
advertising. That's fucking advertising.
That's exactly what they're doing. It's becoming a game.
But think about this. Go ahead, Dory.
You want to? I want to take, because we focused on Joel, but then there's those who have a lot, but they weren't necessarily given the money by their constituents. Like I know I've been using Saudi Arabia as an example, but it's an extreme example, and I think it fits perfectly where they have a lot of wealth. The whole Middle East, some of these places, they have a lot of wealth. But then you look at the inequalities in the Muslim world, and I'm over here, like I'm Ethiopian. I've been back there twice. I know what my cousins are sleeping on how they're living. And I'm just thinking, like, how is the gap so big? Like, how are these Middle East countries not helping? And it's not even like they're getting the money from the people. Like they're pumping oil out of the ground. You know, and you're saying, oh, this is they call it God's blood. They call oil, literally, they call it God's blood. To like, okay, if you're making money off God's blood, then how are you not dispersing that? Like, how are you guys living in big palaces and indoor ski resorts, and there's like hungry Muslims around the world? So that's where I I guess you guys feel towards Joel the way I feel towards those people.
Yeah. And I would say this is where y'all talked about earlier, kind of power, resource, and control comes in, because the person that does the work to extract the resource to give to you, even if it's a spiritual, intangible one, like people that go to seminary and now can dissect and divide the word and give you hope and inspiration from it. There's labor there. It's front loaded. They spend a lot of time and investment in learning a lot of these things. Not all people, but I'm saying that's the idea of a lot of these people. They devoted their lives to a religious spiritual practice, and they're going to impart and dissect like a teacher would. I have this knowledge, and I'm going to distill it down for somebody who is a layperson, somebody who doesn't have the experience and the time. There's value, there's monetary value there. So it's in the principle that you should be able to get some of that value back. I think where our issue is how much. Yeah, that's a real thing. If you spend 20 years building something and learning something, and if somebody's like, hey, I want to pay you, I want to give you a candy bar for your 20 years. I want you to build this for me. I'm gonna give you a candy bar. You're like, no, I'm worth more than that. So all I'm saying is our issue is where we delineate where the line is. How much value can they take?
But my issue is not for every other job in the world that applies. But for religious dogma, the rewards that you were supposed to be receiving was not supposed to be monetarily. It was supposedly you were looked upon more favorable from your deity upon high, and you were not going into this profession, or it wasn't even considered a profession. It was a labor of love or whatever. Your reasoning for it was supposed to be something far more.
And I'm gonna mute you in between talking because it's like beatboxing.
It was supposed to be far more of an altruistic, higher.
I can't. Won't let me.
Oh, you know,
hey, Dirk, mute up, man. Mute up. Cause it's like beatboxing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So it was supposed. So that's my thing as far as the religious leaders. I absolutely agree. If I knew, oh, okay, they in it to make money like the teacher and everybody else. Yeah, they supposed to get fucking paid. I would agree. But I was like, y'all not supposed to be in this shit for money. So why are you paid an obscene amount of money over other people who went to school for also tangible things? And then how do we quantify it to be? Because again, there's no teachers anywhere that I'm aware of that's making that kind of money. We can say in the system of capitalism, there are some professions where people get lawyers who do, but I don't know many teachers that get paid an obscene amount. And if being a religious leader is, you know, I would say closely equated to a teacher position, you know, even that is like, I'm like, this shit is ridiculous. I don't know teachers running around with no private jets and no mega buildings. And I mean, like, this is just crazy. Okay, I get your devil's advocate argument, but it's bullshit.
I can't listen. I promise you, I really don't want to be up here defending Christianity. I don't want to be up here defending preacher. But no, but what I'm saying though is I don't want to build in an unfair standard for them that we don't apply elsewhere, because a lot of these people who have mega churches started with smaller churches or inherited it from a person who built it up. So that's nothing. So if somebody, it's like the Walton family that owns Walmart now. We're not out here talking about y'all don't deserve no Walmart. You don't deserve no. Some people are, but I'm just saying there's the same people like you. Like you probably shop at Walmart.
Yeah, Occasionally, yeah, I do.
Yeah, you gone it.
I do.
So I'm saying
I do.
we don't have
I do.
the same vitriol for them and their exploitation where their employees are on food stamps. I'm talking about us right here. I'm not talking about society, because there's people that can't stand Walmart, will never shop at Walmart because of their
I'm a
exploitative
hypocrite.
practices.
I hate them, but I'm a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
we'll pick and choose.
Yes.
We'll pick and choose. We'll pick and choose which these dynamics we're okay with, because the Waltons are the mega church of industry. We have we built a super center. That's just Joel Osteen in another skin, because they all have an intent that they started with of helping people. I want to bring value to the community. Everybody has an intent, whether they believe it or not. We can't say. That's in their heads. I guarantee you, when Joel Osteen's father was building his church, because Joel Osteen started with an established church from his father. It wasn't the mega church that it is now, but it was already established. So we're saying, like, they don't deserve this. They didn't put in the work, but a lot of these people did grind. T.D. Jakes did not have a big church when he started. So a lot of these people are proficient in what they do to the point that they grew their ministry. So in some ways, they did earn what they have. I would say a lot of Creflo Dollar probably didn't start with a large church. A lot of these people, and we say teachers, some of these teachers are not making a lot of money. There are people like that can do speaking engagements and make lots of money, like Neil deGrasse Tyson. He can probably command some hefty speaking fees because he's proficient at what he does and can break stuff down. So
but
I'm saying
Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't presenting himself as a savior. He's not saying I'm a conduit for the Lord.
So you're adding that in there. I'm saying the dynamic of somebody becoming proficient of something, they can build up such status and standing to command audiences and money.
Apples and oranges, though.
Like follow the dynamic that I'm saying, the literal dynamic that I'm saying. Rashawn, if I were skilled enough of an orator and presenter, I could build up this platform from 290 subs to 290,000. Then somebody at 290, he doesn't deserve that. So we're adding on the qualifier. The qualifier that I'm trying to, the qualifier out here is that somebody's promoting themselves as the savior. And I'm willing to admit that that's a qualifier that we need to speak to, but that's separate from the dynamic. The dynamic of growth and expansion needs to be separated out from I'm giving you salvation.
Okay, to quote Notorious B.I.G., get money. Sorry. Like, if you get money, I'm not mad at you.
The only thing I would say, Arshawn, so if that's the case, and I will accept you made an excellent point of, the dynamic and the steps. If I'm going to accept that of religious leaders, then we can't look at those motherfuckers no differently. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to accept that, then we can't look at them any differently than we do the Sam Waltons and all the other, but for some reason they don't expect their word to be questioned. Again, because what do they play on? They play on our belief,
the salvation, the connection to God.
And that's why for me, I'm like, no, motherfucker, you won't get to do both. You won't be over here in capitalism being messy, motherfucker, then you over here getting paid.
And not paying taxes.
You don't get to play that. God talks to me bullshit. Because God didn't tell you to do this. You don't get to do both things. If you're over here in the capitalism getting the bag, then motherfucker get your bag. I ain't mad at you for that. But if you're supposed to be over there in the space of God talks to me, blah, 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 I'm not in it for the bag, then you don't get to do that. So I'm going to look at your ass away because you're supposed to be in a space almost of being unassailable and untouchable here on earth. Most people do, their religious leaders are considered, until we find out they fucking the Pew Boys. But prior to that, why do they get away? But why do they get away with it in the first place? Because they're unassailable. They're untouchable in the first place. So if we give you that much space, then no, you don't get to get the bag too, motherfucker.
And
no,
I'm with that.
From the jump, though, I think that they should be paying taxes as well. Do you know every year I have the same complaint, man? I get hosed on taxes. I miss my old job where I didn't have to pay that much in taxes. Like I have to pay what? I owe them money for what? Like, they should pay taxes. The world actually, our local governments would be better if churches paid taxes because more money would be pumped into the system.
There's a lot of billions left on the table. But that's all. That's my only thing is, we know I can't think of any religion anywhere where the Dalai Lama, the Pope, you can't question them.
Yeah.
But I can question Elon Musk fucking ass. He might fire me, but we'll question. People won't look at me like I'm crazy. And he's the richest man in the world. No one would look at you like you're crazy for questioning him. But question the Pope. Watch the fucking smoke you get. Because of the followers. So all I'm saying is, for me, that's why I do believe, like you say, you do the stuff on the front end. It's acceptable, especially in a capitalist society. But all those people are questionable. They're all assailable. They're all can face scrutiny. They can pay their way out. I get all that.
Yeah.
But these people, we refuse to look behind the curtains of any of them.
So it goes back to responsibility. Every single time it's them not taking responsibility.
In a way. But that's all. So, but we can move on. But I think that was good, though. I like that, though.
I absolutely.
Christian.
No, I'm not. I grew up in Christian. My thing is, I want to separate the dynamic that's problematic and the dynamic that's actually part of our culture. And that escalation and elevation and growth and expansion, that's part of capitalism. Now that's in the church. Now the deification of the leadership, that's the problem area. Like they can't be questioned. So that's because people believe this and adopt it as a practice, a faith system. I believe in it. That's my personal Jesus. That's what makes these leaders unquestionable. And that's where the problem is.
And the control mechanism of the religion has taught you don't question it.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm saying?
It teaches them you are not to question it, or you are sitting there jeopardizing your what? Salvation.
See, that's why I'm
hanging that shit over your head, so you scared. They got you afraid. They got you terrified.
That's why I'm bad in cults, because I ask a gang of questions. Where we going? Who we going with? Why are we here?
So when you get that, so again, like I said, the dogma of and these are all of the faiths. Like you said, you can't question it. So, and I get it, and I'm like, I'm not picking on any, but I'm like, well, then I don't think you get to run around here with the bag and shit.
Nah, and see what we need, and see, unfortunately, this is, dang, I'm supposed to be letting y'all speak, but like that part was like I had to speak on that one. Let me shout out the Rogue Nomad. Long time no see. No, I'm not dropping the link. These are people I selected for this panel, and I'm going to be doing another one next weekend with a specific group of people. But now we're not just dropping the link for just anybody. But appreciate you for coming by. Let me see. Dury, are you back yet? Dury, is you okay? Is you okay, Dury?
Yeah, you can hear me. What's up?
Yeah. Let me ask you this first, man. So like you said you're not practicing, but you grew up in Islam. What would it get you? What would it take to get you full blast all back up in there? Like pause, but like what would it take to get you all? What would it take to get you a full like no pork, no fornication, no smoking, none of? What would it take you to get you all the way up in there?
The no pork we could negotiate, but no fornication. I don't know, but like no, all the way. No, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't have the willpower, man. It's tough. It's tough to be like a Muslim and really be Muslim. I gotta take my hat off to these guys, because it takes a lot of willpower, especially living here in the West. We were surrounded by weed and alcohol and girls and whatnot. I got a kid. I was never married, so I fell prey to that. You know what I mean? And technically, my son he's haram. You know what I mean? And I think that was I put a wedge, because like I love my son. He's life out here. So how is my son gonna be haram? How are you gonna deal with to be haram because he was born out of wedlock, and these are the type of questions that I have. But it might be a financial thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. It might be like if I had money and I could do what I want to do, I might travel like how suited. I might go abroad. I might go to the Middle East and maybe indulge myself in that culture and see if I can touch base with it. But I think I'm just so disconnected growing up here. Even having the first name, my last name starts with Abdul. It's like Abdul Raham, Abdul Rahim, or like Abdul Jabbar. It's like that. You know what I mean? So I can't even escape my roots. It's in my name. But it's gonna take a lot, because right now the way it's gonna take like a divine intervention or something for it to happen, or like I said earlier, I find myself bargaining, negotiating. So maybe if I was diagnosed with some cancer or something, it was a life and death, and I had literally no place to go, then I'd be looking for that hope.
But right now, I don't have the need to look. And I look at my dad. My dad is the most religious man that I know, and it's done him nothing. Like he's religious. I don't know if you guys know this, but Muslims, we don't fuck with interest. Like interest is haram. So growing up here, like you need to have credit cards. You need to have a mortgage. But my dad for 30 years, he's been in this country. He hasn't done any of that because it's all haram, right? It's like it's sinful to be
usury.
Yeah, so it's like it holds you back, and it's like if your faith is holding you back from accomplishing things, and now he's gonna die in a couple of years with nothing, you know. But at the same time, he's happy, you know, because to him he's lived his life straight arrow. So there is an afterlife. You can't tell him that there's no afterlife. I'll give you an example. Ramadan just passed, and we don't tell him it's Ramadan because he has to take his medicine. He has to take his insulin shots and diabetes medication, whatnot. But my sister must have let it slip to him that it's Ramadan. So now this guy, he's fasting. He's almost 90 years old, but he's not eating all day. And it's like, he's frail. But to him, I try to talk to him, but his response is like, do you know better than God? You know, like God knows me. Like, you know, so it's like when somebody speaks like that, you can't really negotiate with them. You just kind of say, okay, all right, pops. You know what I mean? But
George, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
I want to ask you a question because I know you said your father was very, very deeply religious. And I know you used the term haram about your son. I'm assuming it's something bad. Oh, and welcome to the Single Baby Mama Maker Club. No, my question is, I'm sure your father knows about your son.
Yeah, he loves him. He loves him.
And he knows the situation that you wasn't married to your son's mother. So I'm like, I know he's deeply religious, but he doesn't look at your son like haram, does he? Because I'm sure he loved his grandson, right?
No. So what happened was, like, yes, he was born kind of I got married. We did like a bougie little like a little fucking ghetto wedding just to say that okay, we exchanged vows, but it wasn't really a wedding. You know, it didn't feel like a wedding. It was just more like, hey, let's. You guys hear the alarm in the background?
Yeah. You got carjacked.
All right, I'm sorry about that.
I'm from LA, man. I fall asleep to those.
I was gonna say you might want to call
we weren't legally right now. So we weren't legally married.
You just did
like we didn't go into so all we did was go in front of an imam or the religious priest, and she pretty much, you know, we had a witness there and we signed a little document, but we didn't go in and get like legally married or whatnot. So we just did it like religiously, but still like it was still stigmatized within my community because number one, like my community is very close knit. So the fact that I had a kid with someone that wasn't one of us is like a big shame. I know they're very conservative, so that was also a point. But no, but to answer your question, my dad loves my son. He has a somewhat Muslim name, like Omar or something like that. So I tried to pick a name that is okay in the West, but still has some Islamic roots. But he doesn't pray. He doesn't know how to pray. I haven't taught him how to. He doesn't fast and whatnot. So I'm going to leave that open to him.
What I was trying to ask you was and that's why I kind of wonder about it. And I just wanted to use you because the way you explain your background is like how sometimes people who are deeply religious still can love equally, if not more, people that, like you said, I'm sure your dad sees that, well, you know, it's not right, but his love for his grandson is so strong, he can just see right past all of not your son's flaw because he's innocent and perfect, but the situation. You know what I'm saying? You can look right past it, but you know, but other people, like you said, in the community, he probably would be judging other people and their kids, but he can't yours because of his love for you and his grandson. So that's why I kind of think like the love,
the proximity too,
a lot of that.
Oh yeah, the proximity too. But the proximity too. But like I say, it's different for my family than the general community. But yeah, no, you hit it right on the head.
Yeah, cool.
But when I say my pops was religious, I remember taking a road trip to Philly. I'm up in Toronto, if you guys don't know, so I'm up in Canada.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But I remember going down to Philly on a road trip, and my dad pulling over at the side of the interstate, and all popped the trunk, pulled out his prayer mat, took a few steps into the grass, and he prayed because it's prayer time. You know, when it's time to pray, you gotta pray. You gotta pray 5 times a day, and it's very specific based on the sun. So the first prayer is when the sun comes up. Second prayer is when the sun's at full, and whatnot. So anyways, that was him. It's like he's willing to like I couldn't believe us being parked on the side of a highway. What if a truck hits us, whatever, right? But in his mind, is like, you're in God's hands. God, nothing would happen to you if I'm over here praying. So it's like, and again, when you have that type of belief, you can't tell them anything. You can't even debate with these people. You just kind of have to let it go. And I think that's why I haven't told them about, like when I see them, I say Assalamu alaikum, I greet them, you know what I mean? I try to be the son that they want me to be, but I don't want to break their hearts, you know, I can't tell them that.
Well, the reason why I asked too, Dury, is like, because some people are so overly religious that even when, I mean, like they would like disown their family members and you know,
yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's what it is.
Shit, you know, just like, but you know, it's like if you came home, oh, I'm gay, oh, get out, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're religious zealots.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I did some things in my life that like I said before, would have got me thrown off of a building. Like I rebelled, you know. There was a point in my life where I tell me what I'm not supposed to do, and I'll do it. Like tell me what's haram.
But your father always still loved you, and he never gave up.
Oh, because he never knew. That's what I'm saying. So I can never like show them that side of me, and I think everybody has this side of them that they don't really show as much. You know what I mean? If you can live your like yesterday we had CTV on here. And he's different. He looks different. He acts different as opposed to normal people. And I'm envious of that. I'm like, yo, bro, I wish I could be as free as this guy is. You know how we? But I look at like it's my family, and I think it's that general community that surrounds us that I don't want to bring shame. Like shame is we don't have shame here. We don't have honor here. Like in certain places in Japan, like you dishonor your family, you're walking into a suicide forest. You know, like it's that deep. Where it's like they don't, instead of bringing shame to their family, they'd rather just deal with the situation themselves.
But do you not? Let me ask you a question. Would you not also agree? Like I hear people keep talking this shame shit, and I am so anti-shame. It's ridiculous because I think it's a stupid fucking argument, and I don't think. And again, not anybody religion. Again, they do it in Christianity. They do it in everything. I don't think shame helps. I think it does more to harm than to help anybody. So again, like you said, they say is sometimes people like me, yourself or the Japanese, they're so fearful of shame that they're out here self-deleting. You know, they're doing all sorts of things because of all the pressures and stigmas that one society put a bunch of bullshit on you. Your family put a bunch of bullshit on you. Your religion put a bunch of bullshit on you. When the fuck do you ever get to be who you are? And then now people are sitting there saying, well, to shame them because they don't, you know, I tell everybody, do whatever you want. But I'm against this notion, and I don't believe anywhere in psychology do they teach shaming as a workable. We had that for hundreds of years in this country, and people were wholly fucked up.
Hey, well, hold up. Rico, I added that question. We're going to come back to that.
Oh,
and Dury, we're gonna come back to that. Yeah, that's a whole other question. Let me go around with this question that's on the table.
You should.
We're gonna come back to that.
But go ahead. No, I wouldn't have been jumping out of order.
You nothing, Rico. You sit here and you submit. You submit to the authority. Now, shout out to Conscious TV. Breeze back in the building. And did I miss? I feel like I missed somebody. I know I saw Dawn Frank, but I'm not sure I agreed to Dawn Frank when she came in. But Yella, what would it take to get you to believe in Jesus or Muhammad or Vishnu? What would it take to get you to believe in a God and spiritual system and to take full part in it? Like, what would it take to get you there? You muted.
I never actually thought about it. I would have to die and see them.
Which the
That's a good answer.
But okay, so hopefully you're a near-death experience where you come back.
No. I would have to die and see them.
But then it's too late.
But he believes. It doesn't matter.
You know,
like, what would it take to get you to believe here on earth?
Oh,
your
nothing.
Fleshly. Jesus Christ.
Nothing.
Okay.
We're not
That's
that
nothing.
complicated, ourselves.
So if Jesus came down with the holes in his wrist and like slid out of the sky, like just slid down slow, it was like, hey, Yella, my son. And he was like,
if that happens, then I'm more likely to believe it. But if you're talking about like just what would have to occur in my life now, something outside of that.
So it has to be something crazy supernatural.
Because that is the equivalent basically of me dying and going to the place. You're right. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I mean, then that's not necessarily belief. It's proof. I believe in proof.
There you go. That's what I was saying. It's almost like science.
Yeah, I believe
it's almost like science. It's provable. Oh, okay. That shit's real.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's basically what I meant.
All right, so it had to be proof. All right, so is everybody else feel the same way, Rico? My so-called life would have to be absolute proof, or would like if Jesus slid down? I got a feeling my so-called life. If Jesus slid down with the holes, you still
I need to see him walking on water, raise the dead.
Nope.
I need to see those things.
No, like that's what I'm saying. Like he still like to come down here and do some Jesus shit. That's what I'm saying, right? He ain't just gonna be able to come down and be a dude who has resembled what we
long hair and a beard. It's gonna take more than that.
This right, you're gonna have to come down here and do some Jesus
shit. With
a
beard, nigga, you need a haircut.
All right, so
but my so-called life said he's still not doing
holes,
hole, stab in the side, the spear hole.
Jesus, if someone showed up and said, "I'm Jesus," my first thought would be like, "You're an alien who's been watching us."
Oh.
Because again, it goes back to what I originally said. What is a god? A god is anything that has more power than you or your progenitor or who made you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
so you're saying that to myself, sir. Okay, my
so like you're saying you believe in aliens.
No, I believe in proof.
Okay, so
it is mathematically impossible that aliens do not exist.
Okay,
it is mathematically impossible.
If a person came down,
he just said it's more likely. Yeah, more likely to be the alien.
So if a person came down from the sky and he walked through the morgue and he was raising dead people back to life, you would believe that's an alien more than a god.
People are resurrected all the time. I saw Chris Angel walk on water in Vegas.
Wait a minute, dead people.
Yeah, heart patients
brought back to
every day. The heart is stopped.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue.
You are technically dead.
I don't
you are technically dead.
No,
I could give you a personal story about
but I'm saying, are they
heart stop and brain stop and everything. Resurrection happens all the time.
Yeah, I know.
To be straight up with you, it's nothing to stop a heart and restart a heart at this point. That's like basic. Yeah, that's basic science, right?
Yeah,
right.
Heart surgeons do it every day.
The thing that we struggling with is why does this setup exist? I think that's like take the ability for a human doctor to be able to stop a heart and start a heart, remove a heart, change it like it's a battery on 87 Chrysler Town and Country.
But that's another question of infinite regression. And like you were saying, it doesn't matter because we could just go around in circles and circles and circles and, go back and blame some poor amoeba for splitting in two. If honestly, I am a human of science and proof. This is the crappy thing about being my position. You have to show me. You have to show me. That's the crappy thing about my position. And even if God showed up, I would run some tests. I'd be like, bro, come here.
So not my so-called life. He comes down and he parts the fucking Red Sea or any body of water. And he parts and he can walk across.
Being more powerful than me isn't proof of God. It's not.
It's just more powerful.
You have more power.
I'm following you.
I mean,
I like it.
We are on the same plane. If we are on the same plane, if you bust in front of me like Doc Strange, I'm effed because my whole theory is gone. But
what would make what in your mind? Okay, being more powerful. So if they could take you back in time,
even then, you're showing me how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break your wrist and take your spaceship.
He can't be convinced.
Yeah.
He can't be convinced. I can't think of nothing else.
Yeah.
No, that's because I am a human of proof. You can't just tell me. You can't just do some hand wavy stuff and tell me God exists. You have to show me.
Well, can I ask? So, do you believe in supernatural? So, do you believe in anything like supernatural? Like anything like
anything that anyone equates to supernatural, anything is a human invention. I believe I see my people, I love my people. It comes from us. Just because we can exceed our programming doesn't mean we're not all gonna die one day. Doesn't mean that I truly believe that a lot of what this is to stop the existential crisis of nothingness. We are sitting on a rock in outer space going in a giant circle, and there really is no point. And so we are sitting here fighting each other trying to make a point because there really isn't one.
And I would say this: things that we think are supernatural,
like yellow praising my so-called life. Get out of here.
Things that we think are not natural today was once considered supernatural. So it is kind of weird. So even when I think about like time travel, I believe scientifically we will get to a point where man will be able to travel. I'm not sure if we'll be able to travel into the future, but I do believe we'll be able to travel into the past.
Scientific American actually dealt with this 2 months ago. One of the reasons that we're not doing any of this is because we fight each other. If we came together as a species, we would be living like Star Trek, like space commies, having a good old time, but we don't like each other. So it would take the effort of every human being on planet Earth working together to go out into space. And at this point, we can't even agree to disagree.
So here's where I'm ready to have the conversation, right? Because we are able to go back in time right now. We are able to go back in time. We are able to time travel.
Theoretically, not.
We exist on a planet with variable time zones.
Yeah.
I can leave where I'm at right now and fly to my so-called life. I could leave where I'm at midnight and take a 1 hour flight to my so-called life, and it'll still be Sunday. It'll be Monday here, but it'll be Sunday there.
Okay.
So we have the ability in like not microscopic, but
in a small way, microwave,
in a microwave,
travel into the future as well.
Right. The macro way is thinking about traveling into the past. That is irresponsible.
Okay.
People are too good going to the past.
Oh, where are my notes?
So you can fly into tomorrow today. You can literally fly into tomorrow today where it's already tomorrow.
Yeah. Just shout out to Summer. That was our friend
from the future, man.
Yeah.
Friend from the future.
That's why we called our friend from the future. She was 6 hours ahead of us.
So let me ask you, since we brought up Summer, R.I.P. Summer, man. I didn't know her like you guys know her, man, but she was still a part of the community, and it's a lot.
Is that who we talking about?
Sir.
Yeah.
We found out Friday that she passed.
Tell me offline, huh?
We found out Friday that she passed.
Oh shit, man! I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was gonna ask a question to that, primarily, I guess, to Rashawn and Yella. Since we're on the topic of faith and the afterlife, where do you think she is right now? Or what would your, do you have a belief? Do you think that she's, because some would say that she's watching, some would say that she's listening. Some would say that, I want to know what your opinions. I know if you don't have to answer. I know it's a tough topic.
I got you.
I figure since we're already talking about faith and religion and afterlife.
Yeah, so I can talk about my general belief, because this is my general belief, and it's not firm. It's just my marriage of science and faith. My marriage of I don't believe the biblical heaven and hell. I don't believe that. I think we are where we are. This is our realm. So the same way our bodies break down into different parts and pieces, I believe the energy that makes us up in some kind of way breaks up into different parts and pieces. It gets recycled. Right, it like the body, like the energy isn't created and destroyed; it just transforms. I think the energy of people also transforms, and it just gets dissipated in some kind of way. So when people are like, "Hey, man, that person got an old soul," or "This person seems like so and so," I think that's little pieces of energy from other people getting spread out and reused. I mean, but that's just the only thing that makes sense based upon if I'm marrying science. Everybody's talking about reincarnation, and I've lived this life, and I'm like, it's probably some part of your structure energetically, or some of those molecules and atoms are from something else. And I think things carry memory with them. But that's kind of how I see it. I don't have like a deep spiritual heaven hell concept.
I think if you remember somebody that they, like my pops passed away, my grandmother passed away. Their rhetoric, their BS, their jokes, I took them with me,
Yeah.
who they are, what they are, is kind of in me in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
as long as you remember that person, they're still there. You know
Can
what
I
I'm
ask
saying?
a
Like,
crude, fucked up question that really has nothing to do with any of this? I mean,
Yeah,
since
let's just find out real quick if Yella's gonna answer that question first,
Oh.
and then
oh yeah. Yellow?
Yeah, I really don't have an answer for that question because it falls into belief. Like I said, I don't believe in nothing to believe that she would be anywhere. All I know is that she ain't here, and it fucking sucks.
So let me ask us all a question, since we're all either non-believers or barely believers. And the only reason why I'm sitting there asking is because, again, like I said, I'll miss summer, but nonetheless, what's the what are you guys' intention for when our day comes or our time? Each of you. I mean, have you thought? I mean, because now I'm the oldest of the bunch. I'll tell you, me and my mother had the conversation, and I've told my wife repeatedly, cremate my black ass and sprinkle my ashes in the ocean.
Same.
It's just
similar.
I don't care. I don't care for a service. I don't care for a memorial. Told my kids, have a fucking drink. Remember me. Keep it pushing.
Yep.
I have little to no interest. Now I had my mother cremated, have her ashes here at my home. We did a service. I did that more so out of respect for her friends. And it was in the middle of COVID. So, it was very small. Probably going to do the same thing with my sister unless her son has some fucking money, which I got a small policy on her. But I'm like, I be telling everybody, I'm like, man, fuck that shit. Cremate your ass, because I don't believe. And even if I did, the fucking average funeral is $20,000-$30,000. Y'all are out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's more.
Yeah. So I was just curious as to what you non-believers or barely believers have you guys thought about? Okay, well, one day we're not here no more.
My son's gonna get everything that I am and have, and by proxy, I'm gonna get back at my ex-wife because she's gonna have to go through all my stuff and sell everything.
Hey.
I'm gonna go first.
My question is what
I
is your
consider that a
plan?
victory.
What is your plans for your remains?
I'm not even saying this to be funny. I want to be put under a tree. I want to be put back in the earth. I'm not even saying
ashes.
My whole body just dumb.
So you want to
let
be buried?
Let the worms eat me. Like literally, there are places where you can get under a pod and they put you and they literally grow a tree out of you. I want something like that.
They actually are doing water cremations now, which is some weird shit.
I don't want to.
No, I'm just saying.
I didn't like it.
I looked into it. I was doing some homework. Me too. I was doing some homework, but again, for me, it's also a financial decision. Like I don't want because what I tell people is like when you go, it's for the burden is on the people that's behind. It's not on you. So I had to do this with my sons because their mom passed. And I had to tell them, I'm like, and all our family was struggling to come up with money. And I had to tell my sons, I said, look, I don't mean to sound fucked up, but when you walk up to that casket, she ain't there.
Yeah, but
she ain't there. There's nobody there. You're looking at, so this whole funeral, all this shit is for us. It's not for the departed. So all this, we got to do this. Like, they gone. When she died at that moment, they ain't there. So for me, wherever I go, fuck it.
Would you respect someone's wishes though?
I would respect it, absolutely.
For years, my pops would tell us, like, I want pipers at my funeral. We'd be like, you're not Scottish, bro. What's wrong with you? And he's like,
I respect their wishes up to what they left to pay for it.
Oh, he got his pipers. He got his pipers, but the funeral was crazy expensive. It was crazy.
That's what I've noticed. Your funerals here are very expensive. If I compare it to like when a Muslim guy dies, there's absolutely, I think it's maybe a couple grand the most. There is no visitation. There is no like I've been to a funeral of a friend that passed, and you walk into the memorial hall. It's all paid for. There's people working there. They're paid for. There's an open casket, so people are standing around and viewing and talking. So there's none of that in a Muslim funeral. The only people that see
Yeah, 20K.
The-
The damn coffin, the casket
That's
is
crazy. That's
$3,000
crazy.
to $5,000 for the
The only
casket.
people that see the body, only the family sees the body. Like you don't see that. You go to the burial, yeah, there's a burial cost, whatever, but like there's no
Yeah.
viewing, no like all that other extra shit is like not. The family views the body. What they do is they wash the body, they give it a haircut, whatever. They prepare it for its next journey in a way.
It's a
But
rack.
it's not commercialized. Like over here, it's commercial. Like everything is money.
Yep.
So what's your answer
Alright.
to the question, Dory?
Yeah.
What was the question again? Sorry. Well, what would I want for my body?
Yeah. What's your plans for your? Hopefully, in 100 years from now, what's your plans for your remains?
I don't want to rub it in, Rico, but I'm only 35, so it's not a question that.
Damn, I gave you 100. I said in 100 years, shit.
But I think I'm just gonna go with what my family would want, and they would want the traditional Islamic burial, where it's a simple. There's like a casket's a simple wooden box. What they do is they wash your body, they wrap you up in like a white cloth. It's very very minimal, and if you could afford the box, and they'll put you down with the box. If not, they just put you literally in the white cloth in the ground. And I think that I don't really like the cremation idea. I've always thought it to be. I've always thought fire to be
Final.
like final. Yeah, maybe like because we do it to meat. We do it with the food that we cook and that we eat. And fire always kind of, I guess, with hell to it, always represented bad, maybe evil, maybe something that you didn't want to touch. So I never really thought about cremation for myself. And also cremation is haram in Islam, so it's not something so even though I don't practice, like I don't go out and eat a pepperoni pizza or stuff. I just certain principles that I carry with me today. And I think I value those principles, because if I didn't have those, I wouldn't be who I am today. But again, when I die, I guarantee you it's just going to be what my family wants, and that's a Islamic burial.
So would it be fair to say that while you may not be religious, you are a traditionalist?
Yes. I think the thing about me is I have to be, right. I don't have the structure where my parents will be understanding and open. So it's like I gotta play by their rules if I want their help. And me, I'm a single dad. I got full custody of my son. So without my parents helping me on a day-to-day, I have nothing. And I think like maybe if my money was different, maybe if my life was a little bit different, I'd be a little bit more free. But right now I need them and I can't upset them. So it's more for me not wanting to bring, like, I guess, to use the word shame or dishonor them, is why I keep up the front, like, so when I see them.
Let me ask you this. And this
Rico, let me ask some questions, man. Let me ask some questions.
One last question. I swear this is the last one. If what would you want it to be? I know I agree with you respecting your parents, but what would you want it to? Would you want to be cremated for?
I don't have a choice. I think with me being agnostic, there is no, like, death is just death and it ends there. So whatever happens after that, it's more for my family members. Right. I wouldn't really have an opinion as to
what yourself, happened. You wouldn't give a shit what happened to you.
No, I wouldn't, because I don't believe that. I know I wouldn't want my body to be mutilated, of course, because I don't want, again, that image to be on my parents, right? So that's really what.
Your parents are gone.
You know what?
Nothing. I don't.
God dang. Jesus Christ. All right. Yella, do you have any end of life plans?
I want a Jedi funeral, so lay me on the bed of roses, on the bed of flowers. Push me into the river, and then shoot some fire arrows onto me and burn me. My body.
That's a Viking funeral.
Plus, yeah, it's a Jedi funeral too. Same thing too. Gotcha. Jedi funeral from
Viking funerals are lit. They lit the boat on fire and stuff. That's lit. I think that's probably one of the best funerals that I've witnessed. If it's real, that's really how they do it, where they put somebody on a boat but then set it on fire and just let the boat kind of just head off into the water. That's pretty lit.
One of the reasons I want to be put under a tree is because the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Native Americans, they believed that they were as much as a part of the earth as the river, as the trees, as everything here, and I it's not a belief, but like, I'm part of this planet too. Just chuck me under a tree.
Return to the center. Yeah, and I told my family the cheap way. Whatever's cheapest,
That's
go
a
with
form
that.
of reincarnation, though, no? Technically.
I don't believe in any of that. I just don't want you know what? There's a really cliche atheist saying that someone will ask you like, what happens after you die, and they'll say all kinds of stuff. I'm just not involved.
Mm.
I won't be there. You know
Yeah.
what? You could do all kinds of nasty stuff. I won't be there. This will not be there, so it doesn't matter. Like I would go back and forth about my organs being harvested. Quite honestly, I want science to look at my brain, look at my lungs. Like
Mm-mm.
if you could
Facts.
use my body, go right ahead
fun.
because I won't care.
That would be fun. I
That's
think
crazy.
that would, yeah, you could donate me. That would be cool.
Yeah.
From a Muslim point of view, you can't do that. You can't use your body as a cadaver at all. You actually can't even donate like your organs. You're not
Organs.
allowed to.
That's
Yeah.
messed up.
And,
And
look,
Muslims believe that the body is not theirs; it's God's body. You're just temporarily using it. So it's like, who are you? It's another reason why we can't get tattoos and stuff like that. So, fun fact.
Okay.
look, you can have that shit.
But I say we like I'm part of you, but you guys get what I'm saying.
But you're part. You're
They
part of
meant
the
to
part.
your ass out, Dury.
As long as it ain't the thing that killed me, I'm pretty sure it should be fine.
Hey, Dury, don't nobody want your weed smoking lungs anyway.
Man.
Yeah, lungs
They're
definitely
black
ain't.
as fuck.
Lungs definitely ain't the
That's
best.
why I said they don't want nothing from my ass. I would give it all up. I tell them like, give it
Man.
all away, but they ain't gonna take none.
Lungs
Well, they
definitely-
would do it for research.
Oh, okay, maybe
Yeah.
for research, yeah.
You would
I would
help
get some
someone
research
gain
parts.
knowledge.
They'll
and,
be
you
looking
know.
at me like, how the fuck he lived this long?
To science.
I knew someone
Look-
that drank whiskey every day and lived to be in their 80s and smoked like a chimney.
Yeah,
You know?
some people do.
Hey, speaking
Some
of
people do.
donation and donating organs, did anybody else cry at the end of Seven, or is it just me who's a bitch?
I love Seven.
I can't
love
remember the end of
Seven.
it.
With Will Smith.
The Will Smith movie where he gave away his body parts.
I
Yeah.
don't remember it.
Yeah.
Was
Okay.
it
That
7
was-
pounds?
No. 7 where he.
I thought 7 was Brad Pitt. I thought that was.
Oh, you're right. It was 7 pounds.
Is it 7 pounds?
Okay.
Okay.
It's 7 pounds because
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
it's 7 pounds.
can't
Basically,
remember
the
it, though.
premise is he killed his wife in a car accident. He was so heartbroken. Then 7 pounds. He stole his brother's
Mhm.
identity and he basically gave away. He killed himself with a jellyfish, but he had it set up. Yeah, because he put this particular type of jellyfish in his tub to kill him, but it would preserve his organs. So he gave away his eyes, his heart, his lungs, and he went and
And the
met
brain
all-
was 7 pounds or something like that. I think that's where the name
I don't know
came
if he
from. The
gave away
brain
his-
is 7 pounds.
I don't know, but he
I can't
went.
remember.
The thing
Sounds about
is,
right.
he met all the people that he gave his organs to, and he actually started a relationship with. And then the woman figured
Rosario
out.
Dawson.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Great fucking movie. Watch it.
Yeah, it was.
And I
interesting.
didn't cry, Dury, but it was a good movie.
Yeah, I didn't cry.
I'm not a bitch.
I got 2 questions for y'all. I want to end with 2 questions for y'all, and none from Rico. But something y'all said, made me think about this though. Has your lack of belief ended or strained any relationships? And I want to start with my so-called life. Yeah.
It depends on where that person where she's from. I dated somebody who was hardcore Muslim, and that was a deal breaker. You know what? When it comes, it's different. It's different when you're just having sex with someone. You're just having sex with someone. You're not like, hey, what are you into? Where are you from? What's your religion? But when you're actually dating somebody, like, I haven't really ran into it in my people are shocked. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
people who haven't seen me in a while or people in general are shocked and they ask a bunch of crazy questions. But no, I can find a million other ways to ruin a relationship besides religion. I can figure out 100 other ways to ruin a relationship. Like religion, no. It's no secret. I grew up in a Mormon area. I've dated a ton of Mormon women. They don't care. I've dated, No, black women don't care. No one cares.
Okay.
When you really are into somebody, there are certain things that you will or will not put up with. You know, it's
Yeah.
just what is your tolerance. I haven't really ran into that problem.
Okay. No family, no strain. Like,
Oh, it's different. That's completely different. My brother thinks every time I see him, he's like, "You really don't believe in God?" I mean, every time I see him, he asks that question. It just is crazy to him, but he's kind of scary. Like he's kind of like he was scared in 2012. He thought that the world was gonna
the
end. And
Mayan calendar.
I said, "Are you Mayan?
Yep.
Are
I remember
you?"
that.
Like he was crazy. Like, you know, he's
Yeah.
scared of everything, you know. So I'm not necessarily one of those people. My mom constantly says, well, at least I raised you in a church. That's a jab. But she's
Ooh.
also the kind of person that ends every sentence with either God bless or God willing.
Ooh.
Everything. And that gets that's what we don't talk about. But I don't know. I think it's actually helped me realign relationships, you
Okay.
know.
I like that language.
So no, not necessarily.
What about you, Yelito? Has God come between you and somebody else in your life?
I wouldn't say God, but yeah. Yeah.
Short, simple answer. You ain't going into that one. All right. Rico, what about you?
Okay, reframe the question for me real quick.
Has your lack of belief, your agnosticism, has it ended or strained any relationships?
No, none. Because on my side of the ledger, none of my family, none of my siblings, none of my children, we're not anti-religious at all. We're just unreligious completely.
Okay.
So it would have nothing. Obviously, a lot of my friends are very secular as well. My wife's family is very Catholic. And actually, I am a fake Catholic. I will admit that. Basically, well, I mean, I had to do it for a reasons of like I have a goddaughter, and for me to be her godparent, I had to be Catholic.
I'm laughing because I'm the same way in a lot of ways.
Yeah, me and my wife, we went to El Salvador and we paid and we got married so that the church would marry us there. Yeah, we greased some palms so that we could get married there. Because to be Catholic and married, you have to get married in the Catholic church. None here would do it, but I knew where I could go and get it done. And they would look the other way for a nice donation. Wow. So I got the paperwork and I came back and I could be her godfather at her Catholic church, which after the ceremony, I don't do shit because
you bought your faith. You bought your
faith.
I
bought it. I purchased it. It just flat out in one country and I can play it in another because
how much did God cost? Can you tell us how much did God cost?
We made a donation of about $400.
Okay, God going cheap, boy. God going cheap,
Catholic
boy.
For life through the church. Well, mainly we were gonna make the donation anyway, because my wife did grow up Catholic in El Salvador. She did the confession and all that bullshit.
That's
but
crazy.
She's not practicing in any fucking kind of way at all. And her mom does, her aunts do, but her and her siblings they don't. So they are very much non-practicing Catholics. So on that side, so it really didn't make any difference. She knew I was a fucking heathen when she met me. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck you was looking for, but you wasn't looking for no religious person when you met me.
That answers a chat question I forgot to get to. So
yes,
you identify as a heathen.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do identify as a heathen.
I have a question for you, Rico.
Yes,
¿Tú entiende español?
No. I should. After 12 years, I should, right?
That's crazy. You don't speak Spanish. You've been married to her for 12 years.
Well, actually, my 10-year anniversary. I've been with her for 12 years. We celebrate our 10-year anniversary next week on the 24th. What?
You don't speak Spanish?
No. Hey, my so-called life. Look, I'll be in El Salvador Friday.
Oh, my word.
I'm going there Friday. I'm gonna make videos and all that. I'm gonna share with you guys
Awesome.
when I get back. You're gonna see my family, everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jesus, yo.
So
I mean,
I'm
Rico.
cerveza, tequila,
Oh my God.
pupusas.
Pupusas
Oh,
are
my
bomb. Now
God.
I'm hungry. See, now I'm hungry. With some cabbage on top. Oh, wow.
But you know what my problem is, and I'll just say this: is my problem is because all of them speak English, and the minute I show the fuck up, they stop speaking Spanish, so I never fucking learn.
Oh,
I never
okay.
learn because they want to learn English, so they're learning from me, and they're like, "Fuck you, learning Spanish," and I'm like, you know what? And I hate it because then when I'm there, I'm a slave to my wife because I be asking her shit, and she don't be telling me everything. She be holding shit.
She ain't teach you for a reason. She ain't worried about you learning for a reason.
So
Yeah.
I know that shit.
Keeping you out of trouble.
Learn this shit.
When the sentence is long and the interpretation says no, you know they're not telling you what they're saying.
That's the problem.
Oh shoot.
But so no, and the long way of saying is that thankfully it hasn't. No, it just really hadn't. I'm just trying to think of any situation as far as even friendships. Like I said, the only thing that even close in my life is with my wife and her. Not even her, because she damn near a heathen too. But her family is a religious family, but they know, leave me the fuck alone with that. And I don't bother them. I respect their religion. I'll go to their ceremonies. I pay all the homage. I do all the tradition. I do every for anybody. You know, it could be a Christian, it could be whatever. I will never disrespect anybody's religion or anybody's faith. It's just not one that I hold. And for the most, my wife's at church now, you know, doing something for her mother. I'm like, no, I'm not going. Don't ask me. I'm not going. And she just wanted me to go to say, oh, my husband don't never go. I'm like, I'm not going there.
That's messed up. That's wrong.
No.
Now, Dury, what about you, man? That traditional family. What about you? As the lack of belief into the strained any relationships?
Oh, for sure. Like it's hard for me. I don't think I dated someone who was Muslim, right? So all of my girlfriends are exes. There was an issue with that, right? Because I would have a difficult time wanting to introduce them to my parents, and my parents wouldn't approve. So it just came down to all these relationships. I think my last 3 or 4 relationships, only one met my mom, and that's my baby mom's. My last girl, I was with her for 2 years, almost 2.5 years, and they never even spoke. So it's almost like I keep a wall between my sex life, my relationships, and my parents, because like unless this girl's a hijabi or something like that, like they're not gonna fucking approve. So why even tell them, right? So I put up a wall. But yeah, no, I think that's why I've been single for a while, is because I'm trying, I guess, to find somebody that fits within that bracket, because it's never worked for me before. So maybe it's a religion thing. Maybe if I date within my own culture, then I'll find, better success. So I think that's where I'm aiming right now. But yeah, no, it's always been a problem.
Yeah. Similarly, I had a lot of problems with that, my friendships, relationships, and everything. So but I spent a lot of time in pseudo Christian circles, so it is what it is. My last question for you, gentlemen, and we can get out of here because I know I want something to eat today. I know y'all want something to eat. Y'all done started talking about the stuff in Spanish that I can't pronounce, but I probably would love to have.
Papusa.
Papusa. That sounds
wonderful. I know what that sounds like.
I know what it sounds like too. That's some papusa.
Yeah, it does.
And the funny thing is, when you fold it in half, it kind of looks like one too.
Oh yeah,
but it tastes better.
On top.
It tastes better.
All the great Mexican food does. All the great Mexican food does. Why you think I love tacos? It is what it is. Shit.
Oh man, this I'm not gonna be the one that helps this stream derail and make a turn at the same time. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
We needed a Greg Bryant today, boy. But let me see. Last question for you guys, because this is what Rico was asking about shame and all that. So I'm gonna bring the shame back in. So Rico, you can reformat the question any way you want to. But I just stuck this in there. Does the shame of religion benefit us, especially after you were just sitting here shaming Joel Osteen? Now, Rico, I want to start with you because you had a problem with shame. You have a problem with the language of shame, that you said it doesn't do shit. So tell us, does shame harm or benefit? And why do you think that is, Rico? I mean, because you've been sitting up here shaming everybody else all day long.
I know you had to bring that shit back to me like that. That's why I call you a fucking savant. I love you and hate you in the same fucking time. Because you're right. You know, obviously, when I think of shame, I look at it through the lens of an individual, and I'm always protective of people. I don't like seeing people being bullied, and shaming to me is a bullying tactic. You know, I don't like it. You know, it makes me feel uncomfortable. For anybody, for any reason, no matter what. And I was trying not to shame religion, but maybe it came across that way, you know. So that's why I'm like, you fucking got me. No, I don't think it helps even for me to try to shame their tactics. I have to find a better way to frame it and to call out the dishonesty of the tactics in the way that they teach it. But I know that I'm fighting uphill. They have a bigger voice. They have a bigger platform. The minute and people bigger than me and better than me and more articulate than me have tried to call out these mega preachers and these prosperity preachers, and they've all been shut down and shut it up. So obviously, you know, I respond very forcefully, trying to be heard, and I'm going to be looked at as a hater, a shamer, and everything else. So I lose before I even get started. I don't want to be shaming them because I do think, while I have a lack of belief, I told you guys at the beginning, I think religion is a beautiful thing for this world. For without some sort of control in this world would be 100 times more fucked up than what it is. But I still do not like what they're doing. I should not be shaming them or their religion in any way, but they should be behaving better. So shaming of the religion, no, it doesn't benefit us, because then I'm pushing people to not believe in anything, and that scares the shit out of me. So I'm wrong. So unfortunately, I got to die on my sword and say, yeah, I was fucked up because I shouldn't be shaming any religion, no matter what. Fuck you, Arshawn.
Hey, listen, I'm not the one. I don't have a problem with shaming. Hey, but real quick, man, I appreciate you. Butterfly on my wall. Just want to say hello. Go ahead, Dirk.
Can I ask if Rico sees a difference between like actually actively shaming somebody and having shame? Because I believe having shame is healthy.
Yes.
Right. It shows that you have a grasp of your. So I think what you're talking about is the act of shaming somebody else.
Yes, that's what I'm talking. Yeah. Okay. So if you have shame yourself, you know, that's like self-accountability. Like, I don't believe in accountability absence consequence, but I believe you can have self-accountability. You know what I'm saying? That you're right. Self-shame, you should be, you know, when people say you should, if I tell you, Dury, you should be ashamed. I'm not shaming you. You should be ashamed of whatever the behavior, whatever the action is. So self-shame, I am totally acceptable with. I just think shaming from outside can be weaponized, basically, for anything that you don't like. That's my difference. But yeah, great question. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Because everybody I've heard talk about that's anti-shaming, they'll also use shaming language and tactics. Because again, this was a big thing with Mrs. She Said. Like Mrs. She Said was Shame Sunday, and everybody that goes at her tries to shame her and to stop shaming, which is like mind-boggling. Like, you don't see that you're doing the same thing. You're calling out behavior by pointing it out and saying that it's ridiculous, it's wrong. Like, so it boggles my mind. Like, we had that little thing in our head. But I find it. I also, the second part of that, I don't know how people are expected to feel shame and internalize shame if there's nothing external to them that presents shame. So without shaming, where are you going to feel shame from? Nobody made you feel bad about breathing air. You breathe air, you do it, and you move on. Okay, cool. But if somebody's like, oh, you're an air breather, you're like, wait a minute. Then you might start to feel some shame. Like, what? I'm an air breather. Like, but somebody has to introduce a negative thought. You're not just going to naturally think something's wrong. Most people have that introduced from outside of themselves. You have a big nose, you got big lips, you got a big butt, you got funky hairline. Somebody introduces the thing that you feel shame for from outside of you. So shame starts outside before it starts on the inside.
But do you agree it becomes excessive and abusive?
Now, again, that goes back to the religious thing. It goes back to the line of how much inequity is okay. Like that's where we get into governance. That's where we get in. What's an acceptable level of people getting out of line or having too much of this or not enough of this? That's a conversation that people have to decide upon. But I'm with you. Like I think shaming is there's no shame without shaming. But can shaming become excessive? Shaming can turn into bullying if it's not proper, because in psychology you said there's no I can't remember what you said. There was something you said there's no room for this in science.
I've never seen a study where of the positive effects of shaming.
Okay. The positive effect of shaming, it's called negative reinforcement. You can correct a behavior through negative reinforcement. So you can have a positive outcome through negative reinforcement. That's a psychological principle. It's in Skinner's research, and then I want to say Maslow too. They both talked about positive and negative reinforcement. It's the carrot, the colloquial way of saying it, the carrot and the stick. So reward and punishment. You can positively motivate and you can negatively motivate. So there is psychological principle behind this.
Okay.
You can get some, because that's why I quit biting my fingernails. I was at work and I walked by somebody I've never met. She was being interviewed for housing because I used to work at the housing authority. Mm-hmm. I walked by her and she was like, "You bite your fingernails? Ew, that's a disgusting habit." And somehow, I don't know who she was, didn't mean anything to me, but something clicked in my head when she said that. And for a long time, I always kept one fingernail that I bit. It was a long struggle of one that I would bite one fingernail only. But I quit biting my entire hand of fingernails from that moment on. And I don't know why that clicked in me, but something from the outside clicked on the inside, and I started carrying shame.
Nail biter. What the fuck is wrong with me?
I've been everybody's not going to carry it.
59 years.
Everybody's not going to carry it. There's no law against.
Just call it 60. Just call it 60.
There's no law. Yeah, there's no law against.
He's still saying 59. He's trying to hold on to that 5. Just say 60, my brother.
He wants it.
Not until it comes.
I do not think that shame is an effective way to do anything.
Okay.
At all, in any way, shape, or form. I grew up in a very, very shame-filled. You have to present yourself in the bougie culture. It didn't work. Most of my cousins are effed up. Most of the people in my family are just alcoholics or something. It doesn't work with everybody. Shaming. All it does is create this endless cycle, because guess what? That person's going to turn around and do it to their children, and they're going to do it to their boss. They're going to do it to everyone around them. At some point, you have to stop the cycle. At least that's how I raise my child. I don't overpraise him. I don't, you know what I'm saying? But also I don't get on him for everything. My parents if they heard a noise, they'd come around the corner. What'd you do? What'd you break? I'm just not like that. I don't cry over spilt milk. I try to find solutions rather than shaming somebody. And it's not easy because I was raised in such a negative environment. My first reaction is, what the hell is wrong with you? That is my literal first to everything. Why didn't you think about what you were doing? Because that's how I was raised, to always be on alert, always be 5 steps ahead. But basically, it was just to not annoy somebody. Let's be real. Religion, all of this, it goes back to control, shaming, control, bullying, control. All of it is about somebody standing over you, telling you what to do. That's why when people back in the day, because I'm not a part of it really anymore, because I'm not a part of I would rather do this and be part of an atheist organization. Or when I was younger, I was part of the Black Archdiocese. Man, it's just a bunch of people who get together and drink beer. Let's be real. Let's be real. They're all clubs, all of it, I don't know. So no, shame does not work. Shame is it might give you the result of what you want, but you are creating a defective human. You are making a psychiatrist rich. You are hurting somebody. And I'm not trying to be sensitive. I know because and because I was raised by wolves, I laugh at modern people when they say, "Oh, your words are violence." Bruh, I'll show you violence.
Yeah, we have real violence.
Yeah, I was raised, I always jokingly say I was raised by adults, but it was just a different generation.
Yeah.
So no,
Oh, yeah.
at least from my experience, shame didn't work on me.
Got you. Yeah, there has to be, like, again, I think from psychology, what I see that the most people have a issue with is we don't understand things that are tools are that, like, they are something that you implement and use. It's not like a lifestyle, and shame has become a lifestyle. Like you said, every time you make a noise, what's wrong with you? Da, 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 da. That's a lifestyle. That's not a tool. A tool is something that you use to correct something or to tweak something, but it's not to be used all the time. Because if you're always hammering, you're going to put holes in your wall. Like, there's specific times to use positive. Like, okay, well, honey, that's not the way you should do that. Why don't you try it this way? Like, there are ways to softly correct people, even with negative reinforcement. You know what I'm saying? So I think we think of it the belligerent way, but I think there are other ways to employ it. We just don't always employ it thoughtfully or with love or care. Because, again, like you said, the other generations, they didn't see it the same way. But Dura, what about you, man? Does the shame of religion benefit us? Is it haram?
It's huge. I think that's what people use to kind of keep each other in check is shame. Or else, what else are they gonna do, right? I mean, we have the legal system, but what's just under that? Like, what do we have when you do something that's not illegal, but it's morally wrong? And I think shame is a way. Now, I kind of agree with Rico. It can be sometimes used as a weapon. It can be used offensively, and it shouldn't be. It should be defensive, but it should be defensive for the person that you are trying to shame. Like, your intentions should be positive. It shouldn't be, you can't be coming at them sideways. So, but I think a lot of people use it as a weapon, and they use it offensively, and I think that's when there's a problem. But we've always used shame from when we were early out, early civilizations. I think that's what they use the most is shame, right? To the point where there's stuff that, like I mentioned earlier, there's stuff that I can't do because I don't want to bring shame upon people that I love. So that it holds me back, and I'm sure it holds other people back, but it also keeps us in check, I think. Because if we didn't have that, just like how we didn't have religion, I think we would be wilder than we are now. And because I fear shame, I don't do things that perhaps I shouldn't do. No, as much as I want to do them. And maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's hundreds, if not thousands, of years of history of mankind where mistakes have been made and lessons have been learned. So maybe they know better, but that there's a rebellious side of me that wants to do things, but shame holds me back. But like I said, I do understand its reason, but a lot of people do use it as a bullying tactic, like Rico said.
And Arshawn, can I push back on you a little bit, because that was something I was thinking about? Because
go ahead, and then we'll get Rico in. But go ahead, hit me.
Okay, well, I'm gonna push you back because you brought up the Skinner article, and first of all, I was like, oh damn, I was complex. It was perfect, like the negative reinforcement and the positive reinforcement. And I agree with that. Well, I have not read the article or the study. I would say, you tell me if I'm mistaken. In the article, did they sit there and say that negative reinforcement can be a useful tool where positive reinforcement has failed or was absent? So I think that the shaming is effective, but the first choice is positive reinforcement. So if the positive reinforcement failed or it wasn't there, then you may go to. So that's my issue with the shaming or the negative reinforcement. People using it as a first option rather than a last option.
I can see that, and I can't remember the Skinner experiment because it actually was started with dogs, and I can't remember if it was they tried positive reinforcement first, but both were effective. You can condition dogs with treats, and people too. If like hearing the bell at school when you're in high school, hearing that bell, you get that spike and you're ready to go. Like even if you were dead sleepy, you get conditioned like something positive's happening now. It's the bail. I'm out of class. You know what I'm saying? So there's conditioning that happens even with us cues. You smell a certain thing. Oh, that remind me of grandma's house. And all of a sudden you got all those good feelings. So there are like positive reinforcement, like cues, stimuli that you can use to trigger motivation or emotional changes. They use that in marketing. It's manipulation. So it's easy to do on the positive side, but negative reinforcement is also there too. You know what I mean? So I mean, both are effective tools. That's what I'm saying. They're both effective tools, and you don't have to have one absent for the other one to be effective. It's just as people, we need to be aware which one we're employing and why. I think, like Dory said, the intention, because my nephew did not respond to negative reinforcement. He just had a defiance streak. Like, let me. I'm gonna get to this point real quick. It'll be quick. Even though he did not respond to negative reinforcement, like there was nothing we could take away, and I wasn't about to just beat him because he wasn't doing something in school. What he responded to was positive reinforcement. Like that was the only thing that would motivate him. Like there was nothing we could do, because I'm not about to like physically punish him, because then you were just instilling fear, and we didn't want that. Like you said, we didn't want a broken human being. So we'll take some stuff away, but at that point, if nothing's effective on that end, let's try the positive reinforcement and incentivize. And of course, everybody's like, well, then you're just paying them to do stuff. And it's like, that's how life works anyway. Everybody wants a good benefit. Like Yella talks about this all the time. We've conditioned ourselves to not think that we're seeking pleasure, but almost everything that we do is pleasure seeking in a way. Like even we had these panels about all these black women in the community are twerking. Well, in our minds, we're saying if we can get them to stop twerking, we'll have a happier existence because they're not degrading the society and black women's images. But we're pleasure seeking, even though it's masked in morality, it's masked in virtue. But all of us are pleasure seeking in some form or fashion, some sort of comfort or contentment that we're looking for. So I'm just saying, we get to the same point.
I just wanted to piggyback because what you said about your nephew was spot on. Again, negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement, while both of them will sit there and trigger a response, expect different results.
Absolutely.
Because you're not necessarily going to get the same result from the type of reinforcement that you, because like you said, humans, dogs, whatever, whether I use the carrot or the stick, if I give you the carrot and you're hungry, you're going to go after the carrot. If I beat you with the stick, you're going to run away from the pain. There's going to be a response to both, but it may not be the same response or the desired response. And that's why I sit there and say, for me, where I keep going back to shaming will give you a response. I don't necessarily, like my so-called life said, that I don't like the response that most people get from shaming, or most people respond, how it manifests and presents.
The damage of humans, like they're damaging people's psyche.
Yes, that's all.
I get that. I totally get that. What about you, Yella? Does the shame of religion benefit us? What you think? We be shaming them Kendra women.
It don't benefit us, like in black folks, because it don't exist.
That nigga look like Morpheus, don't he?
No, I'm finna go. I'm finna go Morpheus. I might go somebody else. I'm about to probably go Agent Smith right now. Because some people need to be shamed. Because shame equals fear. And some people don't fear shit. They don't fear repercussions. Because we can never really dish out true repercussions.
Yeah.
So some people out here doing some real fucked up shit need to be shamed. And we don't do it in black religion because all black religions do is make you feel good. That's why we only go to the ones we like and make us feel good. And if it don't make us feel good, then we reject it. Then we claim it's bad. Then we claim everything they're doing is bad. That's why, again, I'm trying to be like that. That's why most of the people come from a church background that speak like that. Because they had to experience it. Well, I mean, that's how the system goes. If you don't want to play in that system, it ain't necessarily because the system bad. It could be because you're going against the grain of the system. You can't want to be a part of the system and be against said system at the same time. So that's why shaming is necessary. The people start bugging the fuck up. Time to start making them fear some repercussions. And we don't even have the bare minimum of social shaming. We don't even have that. That's the bare minimum of shame level. We can't even boo hiss a bitch around this motherfucker. They used to draw an A on you. We can't even do that.
He said boo hiss.
You want to put people in stocks? I'm down. Put people in stocks, throw tomatoes at them. I'm down.
You can't even boo hiss a bitch around this motherfucker.
Bring it back. Let's bring it back. I think we should bring back people in the town square with someone in stocks. Like homeboy got caught stealing from someone's house. Everybody throw tomatoes at him or something.
No, he's saying you can't boo hiss him. That
Boo
is
hiss.
fucking
That was funny.
hilarious.
That was funny. But no, I'm with you, man. Now listen, we getting ready to get out of here. I want everybody to get their last words in. I really appreciate all of y'all taking y'all's time to have these conversations with me. Rico, Dury, my so-called life, Yella, man. I enjoy these conversations, and man, I even enjoyed the derailment because y'all bring up some good points. Like those, a lot of those questions were some really good points and brought more questions up. So I really appreciate y'all. I want to start with Dury, man. First timer, man. First of all, you did amazing. You were great. You were concise.
Great job, brother.
You were
Great
insightful.
job.
You know, we talked about the audio, you corrected it. As far as a panelist, I'm gonna give you like a 9 out of 10. I can't give you perfect, but you did excellent today. You definitely did better than Rico. You definitely did better than Yella. You know what I'm saying? You tied with my so-called life. You know what I'm saying? But you did pretty good. So I want to shout out to you, man. First timer. Dury in the building. Dury gang. Appreciate all the love you give to me and the channel. I want you to get your final words in, my guy. Wipe your camera, sweetie. Wipe your camera.
Camera's not working for me. I tried. You know what it was? I put a sticker on my camera, and now that glue is like on that.
Oh.
I don't want to wipe it up. But I try to cam up and say bye. But listen, I want to appreciate Rashawn, and I appreciate Yella and everybody for letting me on. This is my first panel, first stream, so if it was a little bit rocky, I apologize. I know we had the hiccup up front, but hopefully I could be on here more often. I'll cam up next time. And I just want to kind of come on here and see how it is, see how StreamYards was, but I appreciate the talk. And I always wanted it to be Rashawn take my cherry, so I appreciate that.
I got you. I was gentle though. Was I gentle?
No Diddy.
Well, what's wrong with Diddy? Hey, stop it now.
Oh shoot! All right, man. Appreciate you, Dury. Rico, my guy, man. My first co-host, man. Rico, give us some final words, man.
All right. Great. Let me first of all say great job, Diddy. Awesome job. I really appreciate coming up here.
Caught him, Diddy.
With you. I'm damn Dury. That's messed up.
He was giving you the side eye.
The blurry side eye. Yeah, I love it.
Let me just say this. First and foremost, thank you, Arshawn, my young savant. Thank you for inviting me up here. I had a great time. Bring me back to the golden days. It was a great conversation. I'll admit I was a little bit afraid coming up here because I know how y'all be about this topic. But I kind of thought like you would do it in a very thoughtful way, and I think the topic was great. I think we discussed it in a way that we were honest and true to ourselves, but at the same time, nobody should walk away feeling like offended or attacked, because I don't think that was our intention. Each of us speaking about our individual beliefs and belief values, what we look forward to. So I think this was great. I think we need to have more of these types of conversations in this space, not just about religion, but just about authenticity and things that matter to us. And I'm happy to see that here in this space. Arshawn, when we first started, we talked about these were the types of conversations that we wanted to have. And I'm glad to see that you're still doing it. So salute to you, sir. Continue being a savant. I will be there to rock with you and support you in any way I can. And thank you.
Man, appreciate you always, Rico. And my so-called life in the building. in the house of sewing. Give us some final words, sir. We've converted you to Jesus Christ, correct?
Wrong. But that's why I put on one of my most angry vests for the closing. The upside down crosses and everything.
Oh man, I didn't see the devil on the shirt.
I think, oh, God's busy. How may I help you? That's what my shirt says.
Love it.
You know what? I think we debate so much about the issue, but the truth is, like, I'm one of those people who should be kind to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I go out of my way to not, I don't even know how to say this nicely. I go out of my way to not be a dick to people. I know myself. I know if I'm having a bad day, I don't put myself in certain situations. I think sometimes it's easy to go into these panels and talk about these nebulous things because it helps you walk away from your own issues. I am huge on personal responsibility. And once you look inside yourself, you'll see that you're capable of everything that you're asking God for. And it's you. When you sit down and pray, you are talking to yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. So old Uncle Sewing says, believe in yourself, and you know, you'll achieve what you want. It's so cliche, but it's true, and you can do it without a fence, a middleman, a God, whatever you want to call it. I'm not here to trash religion. It didn't do anything good for me. I'm here, you know what? There is a very famous line in Star Wars where Qui-Gon Jinn looks at Obi-Wan Kenobi and he says, I'm not here to free slaves. I am. Free yourself. Religion is nothing but shackles. Think about it.
Hey, all right. Now, Yelito, are you with us? Let's go. Final words. I know he's a believer in the Christ and the power of salvation through him who set us free. Dang, that's dirty. That was dirty. No. No, don't drop off the stage. Don't drop off the stage. Come on back, player. Come on back.
That's a bold-faced ass lie. Yeah, like I said, I have a what almost feels unique stance on this. You know, not trying to like separate myself from the people that's going to have this conversation or have had this conversation. But I enjoy the conversation, and I also don't give a shit who right. Don't nobody know a goddamn thing. You just learned how to walk like 30-something years ago. You trying to figure out the inner workings of some shit that's been going around for millennia. Just enjoy your fucking time here. Please. Just enjoy your time here. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I know it matters to you. It don't matter to me. I'm good. I want you to be happy though. Believe in whatever you believe in. But it don't matter.
It's motivational right there.
Man, I feel inspired. I'm ready to run through a wall.
Your smile is like we're signing a bad contract, and you know it.
This is one sound I need. It's like,
and you call me Diddy.
That is the greatest way to put it. You ever seen somebody sign a bullshit contract and you like,
yo,
just waiting for him to sign it. Just waiting.
Oh, man.
I've seen it. I've seen players get signed a bullshit contract. You know goddamn well.
Yeah. So listen, everybody. Appreciate that, Yella, Dury, my so-called life, Rico. I will be back here with Yella tomorrow for Songs for Summer beat bracket tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific, 3 Guam. No, I don't know. I'm just making that up. That'll be tomorrow. Wednesday, I'll probably be doing something with Bree in the afternoon, daytime talk show times. I know a lot of y'all don't like that. I can't help that. That's when we're gonna be there. If we do it. There's a lot going on this week, and I know next week she ain't gonna be available, so we might get something in just because. Friday we'll be back again to do the beat bracket from this past Friday. Yellow's got a finger up, and he's trying to finger the screen. What's going on?
we can tentatively put that because Friday is the 19th, and it's the day before 420.
Oh, you may not be there.
Lord.
No,
Before your one religious holiday.
The one day I faithfully wait on.
Yeah.
But it's also the day of Steal the Show. So make sure y'all here Saturday. I know you got to stream early Saturday.
I may. I've got one scheduled. I've scheduled one for Sunday. The one for Saturday has not been confirmed. I may just go ahead and cancel that one. I may because I'm not getting response back from the people I connected with, and I've moved on. I've changed my scheduling around already. I've already committed somebody for Sunday, so Saturday may not happen. I may leave that open.
Right. Okay, so so maybe we can get a 420 wake and bake bracket then. So we can get an early bracket. But either way, we'll possibly have the Usher and Chris Brown. But depending on how we schedule it, because Saturday gonna be a busy day. 420 gonna be a busy day with the wrestling show. But I want to do that 420 bracket. So if the 19th is the day, you know what I'm saying, we can
make sure you guys bring your penicillin for that stream. That's gonna be
Yeah. Disease control for
real. We're doing a bracket on Friday. Which one? Me and Rashawn had to talk about that. But
cool.
yeah, we'll
so that's Friday. Yeah, and I'll be back Sunday for the 3rd edition, part 3. It might say Saturday on the thumbnail now. It's going to get moved to Sunday at 2 p.m. So I've confirmed with 3 participants. We'll be here on Sunday, the 21st at. It might be 2 or 3. I got to double check my messages, but 2 or 3. So that'll be part 3. That will be with New Growth. He's been busy, but he said he would do it for me because he's been busy hustling. Von Eric, who passed through earlier, does a lot of music for a lot of channels. He'll be through here. He's the one that kicked off my the Eating Baby Jesus, that series of conversations that we had. Von Eric kicked that off. He wanted Von Eric is the catalyst. And Mr. He said was a catalyst for that, and they're going to be a part of that. And I'm probably going to redo my the 4th panel. I'm going to try to get. I've already got Mandrell confirmed. I'm going to try to get Mr. He said, and I'm going to try to get somebody else. I don't know who the 3rd person will be. It might just be me because I'm not really been answering the questions myself. So it might be me, He said, and Mandrell for the 4th panel because the other one it's not. I'm not even interested at this point. So that's probably what's going to happen. I will see you guys tomorrow for Beat Bracket. If you're only here for the religious conversations, I will see y'all next weekend. And I may be back with Bree on Wednesday, but I have not checked with her. So just, keep an eye out for thumbnails or not. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. I enjoy these conversations with these fine folks, intelligent, thoughtful, interesting people. I like having the conversation. So if y'all don't, I respect it if y'all tap in and tap out. But I love hearing these, and I figure one day I might be laid up somewhere and I might have to put on Critically Drinking to hear these conversations again. So, that may be my thing at some point in my life where I'm stuck, laid up in a bed somewhere, praying to God. I'm like, let me do something with my
channel.
Oh, wow.
I actually think about that. Like, because I have a really good memory, so I think I'm gonna lose my memory one day. But I have my channel, so I'll be able to go back and watch myself.
Yeah, yes. Like I promise you, man. These conversations, I love these conversations. It's something I didn't know I needed, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of the ecosystem that I get fed from, as far as thought and. Because I learn from each of you regardless. I learn whether y'all know it or not. I learn from each of y'all. I'm inspired by each of y'all. Like Dury's one of the only reasons I'm streaming still. Dury, and I say Dury and a Nay, and there was somebody else that they just kept a Greg, and like there was a couple people that just kept like I'm not gonna say pestering
you. We need,
but they kept poking.
We need you.
They kept no, I'm not needed. I'm not needed.
Yeah, you're needed. No, you fucking need it. You
Rico,
don't.
Rico,
but you're needed.
God isn't needed. Rico, if God isn't needed. Then I'm definitely not needed.
Excuse me. Arshawn, you told me the red pill was fucking needed. If the red pill was needed, your ass is needed.
I can't stand you.
You're needed more than the red pill.
Anyway, we have exhausted this conversation for today. I'm gonna go find something to eat. But somebody asked for Somebody asked to see my friend. I don't even know this guy's name, but y'all gonna get introduced again. See you.
God bless. God bless the food, goddammit. God bless the food.
I love
Now,
this guy.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna end this goddamn thing.
That's past.
Look, where's that goddamn money bowl at? Who got that money bowl? We taking that money right now for you leave this bitch. We ain't leaving out here for free, motherfucker. Where that money bowl at? Don't have me to fire this bitch off now. Where that money bowl at? Don't you? Look, don't make me shoot this. All right. Officer Tuckerson was already a dead motherfucker. I don't mind shooting another motherfucker. Oh.
I'm about to take the hardest decision of my life. I'm taking this channel, 4 years of work, and I'm closing it forever.
Thank you everyone for critically drinking. We are so grateful for your continued support and viewership, and we know we wouldn't be here without you, so we really appreciate you choosing to spend your time with your favorite dime. We hope that you're enjoying the show.
I've had it with this place. I don't need this show because I can get a job tomorrow in the Air Force.
That's
I quit.
right.
Oh, somebody help him out, for God's sake.
And we promise to keep bringing you refreshing conversations week after week. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Man, is that what you think? You are a laughing stock. You are a joke. These people are laughing at you. You're nothing. You have no brains, no ability, nothing. I quit.
Hello everyone. Thank you for watching the stream. If you are truly enjoying the content of Critically Drinking, we really appreciate it if you could take the time to like the video. It helps us out a lot. Let me know what you think on the topic. Drop a comment in the chat. Thank you. Are y'all with me out there?
I'ma head out. Okay. Good luck, ladies.
Yeah, now, yes, me how I felt. Imagine a used dish rag in your head. Picture it. Now imagine feeling like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to quote Paul Heyman, I quit. And that's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.